Hey everybody, welcome to another Saturday. And you've reached, Synth Geekery. Welcome. Episode 100 and, 154. Wow. Anyway, lots to do today. Let me know if you can hear me. Everything's coming through nicely in the chat. Hi to all the chatties who are here already. Wow, it's lots of people here already. It's just really nice to see. Nice, vibrant chat room. We're going to get busy with the chat room today, I think. We have got a slight change to the original published social media with our guests. We don't have Darren tonight. He's, don't know what's happened, but he sent me a message saying he won't be able to make it. So instead, get this, we have got Mr. Burg himself. Yes, fantastic to have him step up at short notice, and he's going to join us with, of course, Andy Brooks. Hopefully Andy Brooks is still around. Haven't seen him for a couple of weeks. It's been, I missed the show. It's been like, a couple of weeks. You guys have been doing other stuff. So, yeah. What have we got? We got some streaming problems, have we? I can't change that. It might be the internet. Internet problems. It's saying YouTube is not receiving enough data to mainstream. Well, this is just a problem with that ISP that I've got. I am going to have to just persevere with it, I think. Sorry. It should settle itself. I can do a speed test on that connection anyway, so we'll see what happens. I do have a backup connection if all else fails, so let's not worry about it too much. Okay, people are asking questions about time zones. I'm guessing because if you're in the US, it would be pretty weird right now because like it's a different time for you. But if you're in the UK, it's the same time for you. And where I am, I don't give a shit about daylight savings because we don't have it here. But anyway, let me just talk about times. So basically, on the 2nd of April, there will be no more early show like we've got right now. And the reason for that is, whilst you guys will be joining the show at the same time that you normally are joining it, I won't be joining it at the same time. So I actually have to shift my my schedule. So literally I'm sitting in the chair at exactly the same time, but instead of doing an hour early show, I'm actually going straight into the main show because it will mix up with all your weird, wanky daylight savings crap that you guys have got over there. So as of the 2nd of April, which will be, I think, the Saturday, there will be no more early show. Instead, the early show will be the late show. So it'll just flip itself on the other end, which we called audio is breaking up. It shouldn't be. Let's have a look. Let's have a listen to myself on the output of the stream. Testing 1, 2, 3. Sounds okay here. It sounds okay on that. It's probably just the internet. Unless it's like a plugin. Let me just enable myself as, I hate doing this because I can hear myself, so let me see if it's a plugin issue. Doesn't seem like it. Don't think it is. If it is, we will disable plugins. Just make sure there's nothing on the master. Nope. Okay. I can't listen to myself, otherwise I'm going to sound like I'm spaz. I'm going to turn that off. All right, cool. Okay, we'll just see we'll just let the internet settle, and I think it'll get there. So if it doesn't, we will always sort out something. What can we do? We can just keep trying and listening here. Let me check. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, blah, 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 blah. No, it's fine. So I'm listening to that on the output monitor. So I think it's definitely internet related, and the only way for me to check that would be to disconnect internet and start streaming on another streaming line, which I can do if it becomes an issue. Keep letting me know if it's buffering and stuff like that. Sometimes buffering happens at your end though, not my end. Actually, one thing I can do, I can check out with some special gear here. If I enable that internet connection, okay, I can check out to see what the router's doing. Let me have a quick look here. If it doesn't come up, we're in trouble. Yep, it does. That's good. I don't know my password. I've forgotten my password on this thing. God help me. Oh, that's right. Here we go. Sorry, I'm just going to be checking to see what connection I'm getting on, because this is a microwave link. So you guys can't see this at the moment, don't worry. It's connected. I've got an IP address. It's showing. It could be YouTube. It's showing pretty decent connections. All right. I'm not dissatisfied with that. It could be a YouTube problem. I'm going to disable that connection. I don't need it running. Okay. Let me see what you guys are saying. Yeah, look, I think it could just be a bunch of things. It could be you guys at your end, it could be my end, it could be all sorts of stuff. Let's not worry about it. I think we should persevere with it. And if it becomes an issue, I can always disconnect streaming on this particular connection and use the other internet that I've got here if it becomes like a massive issue and everyone complains about it. So we'll see. Before I do anything, I need to just quickly add you guys in as a chatty link there. So you guys are playing along nicely there. There you guys are. Yay! Okay, so let's put me up in the corner. Cool. Hi, everyone. I think it's sorted itself out. I think maybe me going in and telling it, I didn't do anything. I just connected to the router. Maybe I'll wake the router up. I don't know. Anyway, we've got a couple of things that I want to talk about to you guys. So the first things always is to mention to all the people that are new, we should always mention, where is the little link gone? We should always mention this baby here, which is Discord. If you do like to chat about stuff that we've chatted about on the show and you'd like to keep that going, Discord is a free and awesome way to do that. You won't be bombarded with ads, and somehow if you've got like Facebook or Twitter or something, somehow they know that you're interested all of a sudden in buying that gadget that you were whispering to your wife about. Discord doesn't do that, so yet, anyway. Maybe they might in the future. I don't know, maybe they'll hack into you. Not sure. No, actually it's good. Discord's good, so there's your link to it, and that will let you guys chat more during the week. There's a lot of guys on there, and girls. Okay, so that's Discord. What else we got? Channel memberships. Channel memberships are like basically for you guys right now. And so that's basically if you just go to the YouTube channel that you're on, my channel, and you click join, you'll notice there's a couple of people already in, like David and Future World Machines and a few others, and you'll notice that they've got badges next to their name, like a big super for Synth Geekery. And there's benefits. You get posts during the week, extra stuff, and eventually you'll get access to when the membership grows a bit, you'll get access to like videos and special live streams and things like that. So hang in there for the noobs. You guys are the pioneers who have just joined, and all the cool kids are channel members. And the other thing you get is those new emoticons, like throw your synth at the screen, and I'll do one. Let's see. Let's do Synth Lord. Here we go. There's the Synth Lord. Yay! That'll always look cool anyway. All right, so there's that. The other thing is Patreon. Patreon is the other way to, if you're not interested in YouTube, Patreon's the other way. I do pretty much the same stuff on Patreon as I do on YouTube membership, so check that out. Now, anything that you guys contribute will help with the show and the greater good of the people that make the show what it is. So any little bit helps. If you can't help, that's fine. Contribute in another way. That's all well and good. What else? I've mentioned about the 2 shows. Oh, 16th of April is Easter, so there may not be a show yet. I don't think I'm going to be having a show on Easter Saturday, but you guys will get that known kind of, ahead of time. So just keep that date in mind as well. Just so you guys know, 2 p.m. UK time will, at the end of the month, this is not yet, so just hold your horses. We've still got half a month to go, and enjoy that first. At the end of the month, it'll end up being 6 a.m. LA time, 9 a.m. New York time, 9 p.m. where I am here in Perth, in Western Australia. So 6 a.m. LA is also, I think, Seattle and all that west coast of the US. I don't know what the Central Standard Time is, but I think it's halfway in between the two. So you guys in the US will work it out. That is it for sort of kind of admin stuff. I do want to mention one more thing. I'm just going to get it up on here. So at the end of every single show that we do, from probably about 2 or 3 shows ago now, we are going to be publishing a blog article about the show. And you'll be able to see that. At the moment it's protected, you have to get a password to get into it, but at the end of the show I'll remove the password protection, you'll be able to get to that. On my website it'll be the most recent post, look for it, Synth Geekery episode 154, and then you'll be able to go into that and look at all the things that we showed, the graphics, the links, all the news items, any video guests we had, links to their channels, links to their Bandcamps. So we're really trying to sort of step up the professionalism of this show, because I think lots of people have asked for these sort of things. So I think that's the best way to go about it. Instead of me having to paste random links in the chat which kind of disappear, this is a more permanent record, and all of the live shows are saved in YouTube, so you'll be able to rewatch them whenever you want, but also you'll be able to access all that stuff. So that is that. So do check that out. I'll definitely remind you guys that at the end of the show, because I'll be making that go live. Okay. I think it works well, because I actually use that as for my video guests. They actually get given the password and they can come in and check out what we're doing on the show. So that is kind of the cool thing about that. What else we got? Video guests today. I mentioned we've got Burg, and we've also got Andy Brooks. So they're coming up a little bit later, and I need to keep an eye on Facebook and things like that, because I hope those guys are coming. Haven't heard any messages yet. They usually come within the next sort of half an hour or so, so we'll see what happens with them. We have got a massive show today. So let me just get rid of this, and I'll just go to me for a sec. So in the show today, obviously right now we're doing the early show. We could mention, I think a couple of weeks ago in the chat, it's just the show. Why call it the early show? It is, you're right. But I call it the early show because the main segments start in about an hour's time. But just to let you know what we're going to do before that happens, we're going to look at the BlackCorporation Rachael, which is a Eurorack module ring modulator. We're going to check that out like literally in the next couple of minutes. We're also going to look at feedback modules, a module called Pre-CR, and I don't want to tell you anything about what that does just yet, because I want your ears to be surprised. We're also going to look at Mordax Data. Everybody raves about this thing. I finally got myself one, and yes, it did hurt my bank account. So yes, swallow a big potato in your throat when you buy Mordax Data. Jury's out whether I love it. We'll have a look at that and see what that does. I'm also going to look at the Behringer Swing. Yes, the controversial Behringer Swing. I've got one right here. So we're going to check that out. Now, we may not have time to do all of this stuff in the pre-show, but they'll be done time after the main segments that we can do this. And if we still get time, you can see me just next to my head right there, you'll see an iPad sitting above a Deepmind 12. If we get time, we can have a look at the Behringer Deepmind 12 app to see if there's anything new in there or if there's any issues with it or anything like that. So that is just without doing the main show. And then we've got the main show. And in the main show, we've got our standard segments like Funny Side and News. There's 9 news items to get through today. And I could have done a lot more. So I've just kind of picked the best. Well, I think the best. We're going to do Price Watch. I've got another Name That Synth. So yes, you guys had a Name That Synth during my week off because it was my daughter's birthday last Saturday. So I put up a Name That Synth just for you guys. So you had something to do on Saturday. Hope you enjoyed that, by the way. I've done another one. So Name That Synth. Actually, I may not have done another one. It might be someone else. Sorry, I shouldn't say I've done another one. We're also going to do a Ranzee's Rant today, so look out for that one. You'll like that. And we've got Jam of the Week. If we can fit all of that in, you've got a show installed for you. Right, let's go straight across to this. Rachael. Hello, Rachael. CS80. Wow, hey? CS80 ring modulation circuit. What can we do? Actually, I scanned. When you get these things, right, you get these wonderful pieces of paper, and I don't think you can find anywhere where they're actually printed as a PDF. So I've actually scanned this thing on my scanner, and I literally did it like 5 seconds before the show started. So just give me a sec. I will copy this across to the Mac, and I'll share it with you guys so you can have a look. Because I do want to show you the sort of the best. It's not the best scan in the world because it shows that the paper was kind of, it's like a parchment paper thing. It's like a sort of parchment-y sort of paper, so it's kind of see-through. Just give me 1 second. I'm just going to minimize all this crap. And we will, with the fullness of time, bring up the PDF in maximized. That was absolutely shocking. Anyway, that'll have to do. So this is the PDF, and I kind of, can I zoom on this thing? I don't know how to zoom on this thing. No, I don't know. It's just bad. Anyway, this just gives you a bit of a overview. We can always go back to this thing anyway. Let's not worry about this too much. I've got this in front of me, so if we need to, we can go back to it on that screen. In fact, I could probably even do something kind of funky like that. No, you can't see that. Nah, that's not going to work, is it? Anyway, I will get on to playing some sounds because I should shut up. Okay, give me a sec. Need to get Ableton Live back up because I need to press play. With some luck, you guys are hearing some sounds. I'm going to get myself over there so I can play with it. Okay, let's shut that up for a sec. Right. What can this thing do? Well, it's kind of got three things going for it. It's got a ring modulator, which we just heard. It's also got an oscillator in it, and this is actually a CS80 oscillator. And how do we know it's a CS80 oscillator? Well, one of the dead giveaways is that it's got the seesaw. And you guys can probably just see that over here, the seesaw. The seesaw is kind of like a mangled up saw wave that I read somewhere that, it was a mistake and they just left it in, and it's because it sounded so thin. It actually says this in the manual here. It says the unique sawtooth wave of Deckard's dream and the Deckard's voice is a nod to a glitch in the sawtooth waveform on the Yamaha CS synthesizer series. The glitch in the design caused the ramp to be led with a thin pulse, and it adds a characteristic which the CS series are known for. The seesaw can only be heard from the oscillator out jack when the oscillator speed is set to VCO. So there is an oscillator out jack, and you can actually use this thing as an oscillator just there. So that is cool. So basically you've got yourself, if you get the Rachael, you've got yourself a CS80 oscillator with square, seesaw and sine. And the sine is actually kind of cool too. But the other thing that it's got is it's got an ADSR on this thing. And the ADSR is actually kind of really important because this famous ring mod sound that we are always so well used to hearing is kind of probably because of that envelope generator that is on this. And as a result, you can muck around with things like envelope amounts and speeds and depths, and those sort of things can really change the way your ring mod actually sounds. So in this particular patch, I have got a Behringer System 100 clone single voice, which is the 110 module going out. It's just the oscillator going out, and I think it's a sawtooth. Yeah, it's a sawtooth going in. So it's literally the full VCO, VCF, VCA going back into the ring mod, and then it's going back into itself and feeding back into the VCF, and that's how you're getting some of those gnarly, sort of really gritty sounds that I just did before. So we can play with that a little bit, but before we do, I thought we'd just sort of get some comments from you guys while we're at it. Looks like Marshall Arnold's joined us. Hello, Mr. Marshall. What do you guys think of the sound of that ring mod that I was playing before? Was that kind of cool, or was it expected? Remembering this stuff has been around since the 70s, and they're just remaking these circuits just for us to play with. What I love about this is that we have got access now to parts of the CS80, thanks to BlackCorporation and a few other people. We've got access to parts of the CS80. Maybe we don't want a full CS80. Maybe we just want one voice. Maybe we just want the ring mod. Maybe that's all we liked about it. Maybe we like the filter. I don't know. But the whole brilliant thing about modular synths is that we can really do whatever we want, and we can make the stuff patch and go through everything. Mr. Wagoo, thanks for the CHF of the 10. Replicants are like any other machine. They're either a benefit or a hazard. If they're a benefit, it's not my problem. I see what you did there. Yeah, so what else can we do with this? Let's go back to our little sequence. Is that still running? No, it's not. Okay, let's go back to our little sequence. I will admit, I do, because I'm in love with this module, I do have this going through the 1-bit multi-tap delay that I showed you guys a couple of weeks ago. I can turn that off, but I just love the sound of that delay module. So let's do that now. Let's have a little play with that. bring the other one in now. So that's really thickening up that sound. It's just one voice sequencing through. So let's now play with the ring mod. Just gave it a bit more of decay on the envelope. All right, let's play with this envelope generator now. I find this slow speed, you just get some so beautiful sweet spots in just those two, the depth one and that. If you're just mucking around with that, you get some beautiful sweet spots. You can slow this sequence down if you like. It's adding a bit of VCF cutoff now. Really crunches that up, doesn't it? Oh, getting those piercing rings. You're getting some harmonics there. Really bitey, isn't it? Let's add some resonance. Typical System 100 resonance will just drop a bit of that level. Kind of don't really like the resonance in that. Getting a bit sick of that sequence. Those sort of things you get, yeah, it gets a bit repetitive. But there you go. A bit of a play with Rachael. I hope, look, there's a lot to unpack with this module. I still haven't even really played with the modulation side of it. Like there's modulation inputs and modulation outputs on that thing. So for example, at the moment, obviously, we've got the gate going in there, and we've got the CV pitch coming in there from the sequencer, and the input coming in from the other module to give it some sound. With the module itself, you've also got the modulator signal comes out. You've got the envelope generator as a source to send somewhere if you want. You can also send out the oscillator, as I mentioned before. And there is CV control over depth, attack, decay, sustain, and release. It's insane. So, I mean, we could just play with that all probably night. And I don't want to do that because I want to show you guys some other stuff. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed Rachael as a really, really quick overview. And just before we sort of go across to the next thing, I just want to quickly bring up that page again for you guys. Boom. So just have it so you guys can have a quick look. It's a 14 HP module. It is around about 38 millimeters in depth, according to that. It is, if you're wondering, an analog ring modulator. So some people have asked, is it a digital recreation? No, it is actually the same circuit from the CS80. And the only thing that's different is obviously they've had to have changed things like the voltages and stuff like that, so it works within a Eurorack format. But the whole signal path and the way that kind of works is kind of cool. Right, now, next thing I've got to do is I've got to move the camera, and we've got to get this on our next module, which is the pre-CR, and that is just down and across to here. And a little bit of dust. Get rid of a bit of a dust there. A little bit of dust around the place. Anyway, we'll do that. Can always get rid of dust later. Right, it's not the best angle, I do apologise. But you don't really, it's not really a lot to see. I'll put a graphic up of this module in a sec. You guys can see its lay of the land. There's literally just an input and an output on this. In fact, why don't I grab a graphic of this thing? So you guys can see it. I am going to save image as, no, that's one of those stupid annoying things, isn't it? Can I do it that way? Okay, why don't we do this? Copy that. Sorry guys, I didn't actually think about putting this up for you guys to look at. I was kind of hoping that we didn't really need it. But anyway, that's fine. We can do anything. There it is there. So it's basically, it's a €60 module. It's pretty cheap. It's basically a preamp, okay? Now, have a quick look at that, and then we'll go back to there. So what is cool about this preamp? Okay, let's put, what have we got coming through? We've got the 1004 oscillator from the 2500 series from Behringer. And I think I've got a sequence on this as well. So just to make it easy for me, so I don't have to, like, look, mum, no hands. Let's do this. All right, I'm going to turn the ring mod off, and I'm going to put some drums into this. So far, nothing special, right? Until we do this. Oh yeah, baby! Could listen to that all day. I mean, you don't even have to do that for long. I mean, are you guys having little eargasms right now? That, if you're wondering, is the famous CR mixer that was well known for guys putting the 303 bass line machine through. And this, my friends, is how they made acid sounds in the old days. And great thing about it is that I've actually just got, this is nothing like a 303 at all. This is a Behringer 2500 series oscillator going through the 1006 filter amp module. So it's just a 2500 clone going through that, and it sounds like a 303. So it's brilliant. For a €60 module, I think that's just killer. That is killer. In fact, if you guys have one of those Behringer TD3s, or if you've got an original 303, or if you've got a Roland digital TB3 or whatever, you could put it through that, and it would actually make it sound so grungy and so acidy, it's not funny. Now, I will admit, it's got to be right up to the gain there, has to be right up. That's like maxed out. and then I have to really back the level off. This preamp is hot as hell, and that's what you want. You want a hot as hell preamp, right? And because that preamp is now going into the mixer that's just above it, which is the Mix BX from the same company, Feedback Modules. So yeah, I had to back it off. But I mean, you could literally just put that straight into line out, because it's got its own amplifier in there. So that is like stuff of dreams, I think, that stuff. I love that sort of stuff. It just really, really wets my whistle. What are you guys saying about it? I can do more, so we can actually make sounds like... Oh, the stream is playing up again, people, is it? Oh, I'm so sorry. I have no idea. I think this internet company that we have chosen has gone to buggery. Yeah, I agree, Mac. I think going Eurorack was definitely nerdy for me. Out of focus? What's out of focus? Nothing's out of focus. Oh, you mean that? Yeah, sometimes the camera goes out of... That's not out of focus now. Sometimes if I put my hand in the way, right, and do stuff like that, it might go out of focus a little bit, and it's just one of those autofocus things. It's a Panasonic, I think, that CMOS in that camera. Okay, so what can we do? We can do... So I just wanted to... If I back off that preamp, just sounds like every normal, nothing fancy, right? And then just put the heat on. I just love it. You can do any filter and oscillator through that, and I think it would be very 303-esque. Yeah, I don't want to set fire to the studio, do I? Beautiful. Okay, so that is the pre-CR, and if you've just joined us, oh, excuse me, I've got a bit of a burpiness happening. If you've just joined us, that is that module there from Feedback Modules. I will admit, I was sent that module for free by the guys from Feedback Modules, which was extremely nice of them. They didn't tell me that I had to do videos on it, nothing. It was purely just to say thank you for showing some stuff before. And I've got to say, like, I won't BS you guys. I've got to say that has really impressed me. I will not spin something if it's not true. I will not, I'll tell you guys straight if I don't like something. That is the best 60 euros in Eurorack that I think a lot of people will spend. If you actually, this is the cool thing, if you actually add that to the BX mix, and then you make the BX mix input hot, and then on top of that, you increase the EQ, there's 2 EQ commands, pots on that, you could really distort the absolute living bejesus out of that thing. It would just absolutely go nuts. Yes, it's pretty cool. And the thing is, it's not even it's not an overdrive circuit. So I could put that through an overdrive circuit, and I think it will sound different. I just think the CR, the circuitry of the CR, by the way, it's a beautiful looking module. It's got really, really nice, big, fat components on it. So he's done a really good job, and it's an authentic recreation of that CR preamp. So yeah, 1080p works. So you guys are kind of having some weirdish internet issues. Yeah, I have to admit, I will probably give these guys the flick probably during the next week and swap over to another company. I've talked about this on a previous show. So basically what's happened is I've got a microwave link, and I've also got a cable link coming in. So when I run my show, I can, if one of the links goes down, I can swap the show across another link. Yeah, by the way, we've actually just had Burg turn up as well. We could probably put him like that. Look at that. Look at Mr. Burg there. Hello. He's just setting himself up. So you can shout out when you want, mate, and we'll hear you, but at the moment we can't hear anything. Cool. I'm really looking forward to having a look at his new studio because I know a little bit about what he's been up to, and we'll definitely be checking his stuff out today. It's going to be exciting. What else did I say I was going to do? Mordax Data. Mordax Data, yes. Correct. Whoever said Mordax Data, you were absolutely correct. That was the next thing we're going to do. So we're going to go boom. Oh, look at that, people. I'll just get rid of me. There's the Mordax Data. Look, everyone who's watched a Eurorack video with someone like DivKid or has probably seen this module and thought to themselves, what the hell is this module? Why is there all of these cables coming out the bottom of it? Well, basically what it is, if you just really have no idea, yes, it's pretty and it's making pretty graphs. And by the way, if you're wondering, that was the actual amp, that was the filter and the amp that was making that 303 sound. So you can see Mordax. Mordax is showing the oscillator in yellow, the in blue is the LFO, and what else we got? Green and red, I think. It's hard to see with the colors on this camera. There's the two EG channels here. So they're actually going out and then back in. One of the cool things about this is that it's a nice clean pass through. So if you do put a signal through and then back out again, there isn't any dramas with getting added noise or anything like that. But okay, so I've got 4 different things showing up on this screen, and it's really, really easy to use. So you can actually turn them on and off just by using these buttons here. So say I don't want the LFO. I just move it down to here and then turn it off. I can turn it on again. I can move the position of this. I can move it up and down like that. And I can change its voltage, so it makes it bigger or smaller, right? So, and as I change the LFO, which is just off screen, you'll see it definitely is responding to whatever I'm doing on the LFO, okay? So that's that. Now, but when you actually turn this thing on, it comes up with this menu. So it's not just an oscilloscope, it's also a spectrum analyzer, it's a spectrogram, it's a tuner, it's a wave output, it's a clock output, and it's a voltage monitor. So some of these things you're probably thinking, oh, I don't need to use these things. But let's have a look at like tuner, for example. So if I hit a key, you can see it's slightly out of tune. It's not too bad though. I would actually be quite happy with that. But if you were really anal, you could like adjust the fine tune on your oscillator. Get that right in the middle. It's a pretty good tuner, isn't it? I actually don't mind that for a tuner. So there's that, that's pretty handy. The clock output, some people find to be quite a handy thing. I haven't used this yet. So you can actually, there's a whole bunch of cool stuff in here. So you can actually use this as your master clock. It's pretty stable. So say for example, you didn't have a Pamela's new workout and you wanted something to be central in your setup. Well, you've got one there. I don't think I'll ever use that, to be honest. Maybe, I don't know. Voltage monitor. So I've got those 4 channels running, and this is actually telling me what the voltage is on each thing. So if I'm hitting that envelope generator, you'll see the voltages spike. Watch this. So that's kind of, that's a nice thing. It's, you know, if you guys really are into that sort of nerdy stuff, maybe I might zoom in a bit more and you guys can have a bit closer look at that. So I just move that over, wrong way. Hello, camera. Is that better for you? Okay, so what else we got? We had the 2 audio things, the spectrum analyzer and so it's doing what it's telling us. It's turning, that's a very low sound. So it's doing its job. That's telling us what it's doing. There's some functions within that, right? So you can play that if that's the sort of thing you're after. And the spectrograph. There you go. And you can freeze these things, so you can just hit stop and you can freeze it. And then you can hit run again and it will just keep reading. And stop. And you can have a look at your spectrograph. And I don't know if this is like insanely accurate or anything, but it's a nice thing. But most people would actually find this pretty useful. And you probably don't want to have all your waveforms showing at the same time. So like any oscilloscope, you've got functions here to change the run to stop, so you can pause it. So let's pause the EG. Let's do it better than that. Ooh. There we go. So you can pause your envelope generator and you just run it again. You can set the time. The time is based on the oscilloscope itself. So by changing the time, you'll see it's plotting it either at a finer time or a larger time. So you'll be able to get the real oscillator sort of level stuff. And all those other things like the LFO just won't look good at all. So there's the square wave from the 104. Playing with time. Beautiful. And there's a whole bunch of cursor controls and trigger controls and things like that, and we get really geeky. The other thing about it too is it does have, so it has its ins and outs, and it also has these 4 CV things here, and you can actually do things with those. Oh, he's testing audio now. Let's get the audio tested. Okay, I can't hear you. Nothing's coming through. You're enabled here. So if you go into your browser, just make sure that that particular driver is connected in the settings icon in your browser for the video call. Just make sure you've got the right audio device in there. And message me if you need some help. If you need some help. I've got your messages coming through, so that's all good. I can keep an eye on you on the other screen. So if I go across to here, you won't see, but I can see you still, Mr. Burg. So yeah, keep playing. Right, that's Mordax Data. Now, Mr. Adamski's put a nice little £5.55. A little thanks for your relentless hard work in bringing us a great show week in, week out. Thanks, matey. Much appreciated. And also, we'll definitely put that towards the beer fund. Yeah, so the Mordax Data is a little bit pricey. As Chris had said, he's just searched for a price there, $395 US. It's not a cheap module. It cost me the better part of $600 and something in Australia here. So it's a lot of money. Do I really need it? Okay, well, I do, because I do videos on stuff, and it's a very, very handy tutoring and displaying tool for things like that. But you guys may not need it. In fact, if I switch across to the other camera, you guys might remember that I've already built an oscilloscope module. Swap it over there, and I don't know why this thing is just always being very difficult. My little Xbox controller thing is not working tonight. I'm a little bit sad. I'm a bit sad. So we talked about this thing. I built that oscilloscope there running the sawtooth waveform from the System 100 module just to the right there. If I was to change to a different waveform, it should show up. So it should be triangle and square. See, works beautifully. That was a hell of a lot cheaper to build. If you just want something to display in your Eurorack, your waveforms, and if you want an envelope generator and stuff like that, that might be the way to go. Marshall's popped a 5 US through. Thank you very much, Mr. Marshall. I haven't seen you for ages, and we must catch up So yeah, much appreciated. Thanks for the show, Ranzee. Yeah, thank you for being in it, mate. You've contributed a lot in the past, so yeah, really good. Where were we at? We were at the Mordax, weren't we? Mordax. Oh, we got some sound. Okay, Mr. Burg, we can hear you. And he hasn't got his headphones on, so right now he won't know. I can hear you, Mr. Burg. Now, I don't know where that sound's coming from, but we can hear ourselves back. Let's have a look what he's doing. We'll spy on him, shall we? We can hear you. Oh, and you've just done something and now we can't hear you. So did you unplug that? Plug that back in again. No. I don't know what you just did, but we were hearing you for a second. Keep trying. I'll let you know if I can hear you. It is sexy. It is, says Mr. Mac. It is sexy. Yes. The upside down Eurorack. Yeah. I've got two cameras connected, and one of them's the right way up, and the other one is the above camera. And if I have it upside down, I get a better angle for you guys to see. So like when you guys look at this, that's the actual angle the camera is seeing. So all I do is I just flip it over so you guys see it like that. But actually as a viewing angle, it always looks pleasing to our eye. It's weird. And some cameras have the ability to flip inside, but this particular Sony camera doesn't. It's just a handy cam. It's pretty good. Oh, we got sound. What's he done?
We got sound?
We got sound. Can
you hear me?
I can, but I can, but it's very echoey. I don't know where it's coming from.
Let's try to raise the volume a little bit here. Testing.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Testing.
Yes, we can hear you.
It's actually, now it's audio from the camera.
Right.
In microphones, it's probably a little bit echoey. I couldn't get the level here to work at all. So
okay, all right. And Mr. Brooks has just arrived. Hello, Mr. Andy.
Hello, is it working?
It is straight out of the bat. Look at that. Aren't you fancy?
Blimey.
Wonders will never cease, as they say in the classics. We don't have Darren today, people, so I do apologise.
Saw your post.
He did send a message to say sorry. He sends his regards to everyone.
Hey there, Andy.
Oh, hi, Andy. How are you?
All good.
It's good that we've got some audio from you, Mr. Burg, anyway, because it's actually not too bad. It's just reverby. That's all. We can. All
right, good. Mic is maybe 1 meter, 1.5 meter from me, so that's probably why it doesn't sound that good. But is it audible? Can you hear what I'm saying? It's not like it's
it's fine.
Garbled up or anything. Good. Thanks. Good.
I mean, you can keep playing with it if you want, but at least you know that works, and that's a go-to for you.
Perfect.
Okay. Right, where are we up to? It's about 15 minutes before we'll start hitting the main show. So thanks for you guys who have just joined us. We've just shown the Rachael by BlackCorporation module, which is the ring mod. We've shown the pre-CR, which is distortion.
Oh, what was that?
Yeah, it's the pre-CR. Can we get the camera back on the pre-CR? I'll show you.
Oh, I wish I'd been here earlier now.
I'll show you. This is just for you, mate. This is just for you because we love you so much. PTZ. Move this across. I've got messages. Hang on a sec. One sec. Sorry, one sec. Bit more to the right. Here we go. Okay. Computer crashed. Okay. So Burg's computers has crashed. This is the module here, Mr. Brooks. It's and it looks like this when you're looking at it from above. So it's a that doesn't even zoom in. What the hell? Anyway, that is what it looks like. And then if you back off the gain on this thing, just to any sort of, just sounds like any normal sort of pre-amp. But these were the CR amps, mixers, sorry, that were in the 80s that they used to put the 303s through, and you put the gain right up. This is what happens. You get that famous sound that we all love. So yeah, not bad for 60 euros, I say. Not bad at all. The other thing too is, like, even just as a preamp module, it's pretty cheap, and it's a nice looking module with the gold plates underneath the potentiometers. I just think the design's nice, but there are some things that you need to amplify the sound a bit, and it's got a nice high and low tone control on it, and also very, very handy level control on there as well. So even just as a preamp, it's actually really cool. And then it's just the added benefit of grungeness, of acid, of beauty. Yeah, so I think Berg's getting his laptop. Oh, look at that. Have you crashed too, Mr. Brooks? I think we... I'm on my own here. Everyone's crashed. Hello. Are you guys... Is it just me? Am I talking to myself? Is the internet actually working? No, it's still working. Cool. It's funny. Interesting. It is still a bit buffery though, I have noticed. Oh no, Mr. Brooks is back now.
Yeah. Sorry, was that? I suspect that was me rather than anything else, but
it was
suddenly
you.
also,
Yeah.
just when you were partway showing that module, I don't know why I did that. But the chat was still scrolling, but it just seemed to completely freeze.
Yeah. Maybe Australia is having bad things happening right now. Who knows? We have to trust these internets, don't we? Maybe we're getting hacked. I have no idea.
Oh, heck.
What was I going to show you guys next? Okay, so what I was going to show you guys next was this thing, the Behringer Swing. Now, this is kind of controversial.
No, you've not.
I didn't buy it. I'm going to be honest. Mr. Behringer has sent it to me. You know, like I always say, if they do send me stuff, I will let you guys know. So there it is right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move it up to in front of me here. And we shall have a little bit of a closer inspection. Just blow the dog fur off of it. Jeez, what the hell? I'll just rest it like precariously on top of that Eurorack. Everyone will be swearing at me now. Don't do that. You can't do that. That's just absolutely shocking. Okay, can we achieve grandness? All right, there it is there. It's predominantly exactly the same as a key step, if you're wondering, you know, and if that upsets you, then let it upset you, that's fine. The reason why they've sent it to me is because they want me to give my opinion about it. It's different in quite a few areas. So it's the same look and feel. The knobs and the buttons aren't exactly in the same spot. Things like this stuff here and the swing and the MIDI channels have been swapped around. So they've kind of changed a few things with it. The sequencer and the arpeggiator is slightly different. And to be honest, I kind of don't know if, I don't really know if I like it as much in that sense. One of the most distinguished differences is the aftertouch. So there is your standard channel play, right? And then That's your aftertouch there. So it's like a very springy aftertouch, whereas I think on the key step, the aftertouch is going to be, it's kind of more like a thuddy sort of numb. That's you,
Sorry,
Mr.
I was just playing with the I was just playing with the aftertouch on the key step 37. That's all. Sorry,
So,
I didn't realise it was coming through.
So that aftertouch is kind of like more of a springy aftertouch that you would see on quite a lot of keyboards. It's not quite as like the key step one is kind of dull and thuddy, whereas that is actually very, very, very springy. The keys feel almost identical though, to be honest. So look, this is going to really upset a lot of people. I don't know why it would upset you unless you actually own Arturia, or maybe you're just an ethical person. I don't know. I didn't buy this, so you know, I'm telling you guys now that I got given it. The back of it. Let's have a look at the back of it. Shall I turn it around? So the back of it has, yes, I don't think they learnt micro USB, but it does have DC.
There is a 9-volt. Yeah.
So if you don't like the micro, you can use that. It's got your standard mod, CV and gate, foot switch, sync, MIDI in and out. It doesn't have through, but I don't think the key step has through either, does it? Can't remember. I'd have to grab one.
No, I don't think so. Quick look.
A little bit dusty. So, yeah. And now there is an app that you can download called, I think it's called, what is it? You've got Synth Tribe, and I think you've got Control Tribe. So they've got this new app called, I think it's called Control Tribe, where you can actually go in and configure this. So there's more things to configure in this as well. Yeah, so as a piece of gear, I probably would never have bought it because I've got 2 key steps already, right? So I probably should make that clear to you guys. I've already got 2 key steps. There's one right here under my desk, and there's another one sitting literally, where is it? It was...
Burg testing again. Test.
Yeah, we can hear you. And there's my other key step.
Perfect.
That's my original one that I bought, and I've got a black one which is under here. So yeah, that has MIDI in and out on that as well. So that's the original key step. That's the one that I've had for years. So I wouldn't need to buy a swing because I've got 2 key steps. But you know, I want you guys. It's a good discussion point. I want you guys to talk about this, like in the chat. How does this make you feel? Is this where Behringer annoys you? Is this where some people love it because they are getting pretty much the same product for cheaper, and they don't really have any allegiance to brands? They might actually think that's good. But I will warn you, it's not exactly the same as a key step. Like I said before, the arpeggiator and the sequencer works differently. The aftertouch feels different, so it's slightly different in that sense. And as Peter has said, the key step has through but no sysex. Interesting.
I sort of got on my high horse about this one a bit when it was sort of first announced, because it was just a product that was current and being sold, and I just thought it was really cynical because obviously a lot of those Behringer modules were being demoed with an Arturia key step, and they probably thought, "Oh, look at that! We could do something about that. Look, we could do one of those." And then the more I think about it, I think I might have said it before, but do people get the knickers in a twist about the fact that there are so many Stratocasters out there that aren't made by Fender and so on? That in the guitar world, copies and copies and copies have been part and parcel of it for decades, and it seems like, well, not really. Buy the cheap one if you want it, or buy the real one. You know, it's up to you. And I suppose I suppose we're just not used to it in the same way in the synth world. People have never really done it. People have always done their own machines, and okay, there might be similarities between one machine and another, but they've been their own until Behringer come
Synths
along.
have grown. So yeah, in the last probably 10 years, there's more people that are using synths than there ever has been. You know, and I think that's probably the reason why you're seeing it, Andy. That's probably why you're seeing clones and copies and all that sort of stuff. Can I ask you, when you're listening to me, is the audio never breaking up or anything? Because there's a few people saying, I think Martin was saying...
I'm listening to you through vMix.
So, yeah, vMix is very clear on my end as well. I don't have any problems at all hearing it.
Well, you guys are getting the master output, so there's the people that are getting the stream should be getting exactly the same thing. So if there is an issue, it would be an internet issue. It won't be anything that I'm doing here. Yeah, we'll just have to persevere. Yeah, look, for me, when they sent it to me, I wasn't sure whether I wanted to accept it or not. Like, I wasn't sure. But then I thought to myself, I mean, like, really at the end of the day, like, how stupid would I be if I said, no, don't send me that, but send me everything else that I want? You know, it just doesn't, like, it doesn't make sense. So I said, yeah, send it through. So yeah, for me, what I will do for you guys who are members of my channel, subscribers, is I actually will do a full video on the Swing like I did with the KeyStep many, many years ago. And I'll go through how to connect it, how to use their app, and all the nuances that this has got, and I'll compare it to the KeyStep. And you know, we'll be very nerdy about it. So expect that soon, coming up. But other than that, it actually works just like a KeyStep. So you know, if you guys are sitting on the fence about this stuff and you don't really care who makes it, you've just got a budget that you need to work to. You know, at the end of the day, when the KeySteps first came out, they were built to a budget too. Don't forget, they weren't exactly high-end, you know, classy machines. And you know, the first model like this, the micro USB on them was really flimsy. So you know, they had issues with that.
I actually have a couple of keys on my original KeyStep breaking down, so it probably not quality gear. You know, throughout the lifespan of my studio, so I can agree on that part. You know, but really, active of copying something like Andy said that is current and is on sale at this particular moment is a little bit cheeky, right? So I wouldn't go off and buy one of these if you're asking my honest opinion.
That's the thing. I probably, like I said, I wouldn't have bought it either because I've already got 2 KeySteps. Yeah. Mind you, I've so wanted to get myself the KeyStep Pro, but I just find where I live with all the freight and GST and all the taxes and the Australian taxes that we get, and I say that with tongue in cheek. There's actually no such thing as an Australia tax, but believe me, we pay an Australia tax. I think the KeyStep Pro works out to be about over $700 Australian, and I just find that a little bit over the top for what it is. It's a good little unit with all the sequences and stuff in it, but I just kind of feel that for me, here I am saying that, and I bought the Mordax Data. Logic just flies out the window in my head. But yeah, anyway.
So you've gone and bought a Mordax, have you? I wondered.
I did buy a Mordax
at some point.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what's your use cases for the Mordax? Is like tuning, or what are you planning on using it for? You know, other than looking at the wave shapes.
So for me, it's more a tutorial / video tool. So I mean, I'm hoping to make some money back on it through, you know, viewing videos of it. So that, you know, kind of like what you see with DevKid's stuff. It's actually really, really handy for that stuff because you can see, even here, you can see an LFO running at the same time as an oscillator. So if you're looking at that line sort of scrolling across, that is at any given point in time what both of those waveforms are doing at the same time. So it's actually pretty cool when you think about it. So yeah, for me, it's going to be like an educational tool.
So it's not like something that you would use when you're making music by yourself, right? It's more like showcasing. Here's like a waveform. Here's the trigger. Yada yada. Because I have a tuner myself in my rack, and I never use it. So it's probably more like an educational tool, right? That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I showed the tuner before on that as well. This does actually have a tuner, and it's not a fish. And it's not a tuna, as Arnie Shorts would say. It's not a tuna. There's the tuner there. So it's actually a nice looking graphic tuner. I mean, it's nice and big and bold. Like when you look at this, the size of my hand. Tuners can be tiny looking things, and if you sort of want to sit back, and you might be a little bit further away, you can get that line in the middle. You kind of you know where you're at. Let me do that for you guys, because I know there's a few people that are getting annoyed with that. There you go. Happy now? For all the OCD people.
Yeah, exactly. Your tuna is out of tune.
Believe me, I can absolutely understand why you'd want a tuner in the Eurorack, because that's just been bloody driving me nuts recently.
I use my DAW, but if you're ever wondering how I tune my stuff, I actually just mute all the channels other than the one that I want to tune, and I just use the tuner app inside the DAW, and it works every single time perfectly. And I'm sure a lot of you also do that.
I can do it by ear. I mean, I can press a key on here and play a sound from the MPC, and I'm assuming that the MPC is in tune by default because it's digital, and then I just tune to that.
Yeah.
By turning knobs, but it's just a bloody fiddle faddle. So,
it is, and eventually you get your head around it.
The D goes out of tune like mad. Interestingly enough, the Behringer have successfully managed to build tuning instability into the D, just as the Mini Moog had it. Which I think is taking accuracy too far. Yeah.
But if it didn't have that, people would have been like throwing their synths at the screen, because they would have been going, it's not original. It doesn't go out of tune like my Model D does. So yeah. Hey, we should start the show. Well, the main show. Should we do that? Let's do that.
Sure. Yeah.
Main show, I'm not even going to do an intro, but welcome to the main show. We've been streaming already for over an hour, so it's a bit silly. Welcome, everybody, to the main show, and I just thought I'd quickly formally say hi to Mr. Burg, who has joined us at last minute. Really appreciate you coming on at last minute, and also having a very nice little sticky beat at your studio there. It looks beautiful, nice and bright.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, it was a last minute thing. I haven't really figured out all the camera setup and audio and microphones and stuff, but I hope that you guys can hear me properly.
It's fine. We will persevere. Obviously it's a bit reverby, but beggars can't be choosers, as they say. Beggars can't be choosers.
Yeah, exactly.
Now you've got some new gear. I know, because I follow you on Patreon. You've got some new gear. Do you want to quickly tell us what you've got? And obviously we'll come back and revisit that in detail.
First and foremost, this is a completely new space, right? I moved to this house in April last year, I think. And April 15th or something like that. And, decided to build an entire room dedicated for a studio. So it's a little bit of a strange space. I have these slope walls, 45-degree angle walls. That creates a little bit of problem for me when it comes to getting the gear on shelves and stuff like that. So that's probably going to be something that I have to work on going forward, finding the right spot for everything. But I think I have a good setup now that works for me, at least. The standard U-shape, if you will, or synth tunnel, as we usually call it. And it's working pretty fine. And I actually built this desk that you guys are looking at that I have all my gear on. It's not that visible, but I have like speakers on the left and the right hand side. I have 19-inch, racks on the left and right hand side as well. So it's been like part of the challenge and the fun to actually build the furniture for the studio itself. So it's custom made for this space, right? So I'm going to continue building tables to the right-hand side and left-hand side as well, making those custom too. But, obviously that will take a little bit of time to get that sorted. Yeah, so when it comes to the new gear, I recently turned 50. So I thought for myself, I need to buy some new stuff. So I actually got the Mordax Data Dark Edition. And this is a beautiful machine. It's so back to basics, how synths were built back in the day. No memory slots, no nothing. And also the modular and patchability on top of that creates, an awesome machine, right? So it's paraphonic, right? So it's not one envelope or filter per key. So it's like they share everything through one and the same filter and envelope. So that creates a lot of extra quirkiness and stuff that I like. So kind of use that to its advantage, create things that I normally wouldn't be able to create on other synths out there. So it's a very beautiful machine. I love it. And it's going to be like one of those machines that is going to be here in the studio forever, I think. So it's a very, very nice buy. And I really coveted to have like a big poly before, because I haven't had like an analog poly for a long time. And, getting the Mordax Matriarch into place really filled the gap that I was missing sonically, and also, workflow-wise. So very, very welcome addition. And then I actually got, I don't know if you guys can see it on the video. This is Noram Mono from the French company. It's sort of an, XOX type of style programming, 16-step loop-based type of synthesizer, but it's crazy in terms of modulation. Each and every one of these knobs can have an LFO and an envelope attached to it. So you can create some really crazy things. You can do slow LFOs. You can do really quick things and have, evolving soundscapes within one of the same sounds. So for me, this is a perfect fit into my loop-based music. So loving this one to the death as well. And it's, at the same time, it just sounds awesome. I don't know if there's any sound in here, but...
Yeah, we can hear that.
It's crazy. It's crazy. And adding to this, also I did a swap. I used to have the Electron Digitone, but I found myself not really using it that often. So I had a friend or an acquaintance in the region here who had the human comparator Pearl Syncussion clone. And I had this hooked up to my modular. It's basically, percussion device, and it does a lot of quirky, fun stuff. So I'm using that for drums and kicks and snares and noise blasts and whatever. And it's also a really cool machine, right? So, yeah. And also the Soma Ether. This is a really quirky little device. It's basically an anti-radio. So it picks all up, electronic interference and stuff like that, and just replace that out through a 3.5 millimeter jack. You can either have your headphones on and listen to it, or record it to do ambient soundscape and or noises. So, yeah, I've had some, I've been a good Burg, so I've been shopping off a little bit.
Oh, it's nice. It's nice. Yes. I mean, reward yourself because you hit the big 5-0. So welcome to the club, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good to be here.
It's a life-changing thing turning 50. It's a weird thing because you kind of don't feel like it, but you are it. It's weird. It's weird. Yeah. And Andy's here, and we missed you, mate. How you been? How's your last couple of weeks been?
Yeah. I'm a bit like that all the time now, aren't I? I'm just, obviously there's work, but I've been noodling about. Oh, that's all I ever do, though, isn't it? I just noodle about. But I got to a point where I thought, I am so fed up of all this bloody modular stuff that I can never get to work, and I can never get a bloody sound out of it. And I've got why the 960 sequencer will trigger the synths and the sound source, but why can't I get it in sync with other things? And I was going through all of these things, and I was on the phone to Grace Griffin, and Grace didn't tell me anything. I just suddenly had a moment of clarity and went, "Oh, you need to do that, you clown. You need to put that from there to there, and it'll work." And I did it, and just a simple little thing. Where is the gate coming from? Where are the triggers actually coming from? That's not sending out triggers at all. It's just sending out pitch information. Where are the triggers coming from? So then I realised I need to do a mult on the BeatStep Pro because it was being triggered from that. Just a little thing, and I just thought you've got to just think about things just from a different angle. You think, and I got used to that idea now because I've done it before. I just simply forgotten, and it was like, oh, and it took me ages, and I was getting so frustrated. Well, eventually got back. I got it all to work, so that was a frustration overcome.
Yeah, and I'm also noticing that your nice little setup there, it looks very fulsome now. There's not too many gaps, so it's looking very nice.
I think I've got. Did I do a measure 76 HP free or something like that?
Oh, it's
I mean,
crazy.
that's assuming. I mean, of course. Yeah, I mean, if you probably see, or maybe you can see, I do have the D and the Pro one in the left hand Go case, and once again, there may well come a point where I go, nah, it's got to come out. But seriously, you've got to think about where things go and what goes in, and it's not full yet. I mean, there's still pretty big gaps in it. On the right hand side here, there's quite a nice sort of slot, nice sort of space there. That there's plenty of room for new little bits of goodiness. But I am trying to be good. I mean, I have bought quite a lot of modules. I bought like a module a month for the last 6 months or so, and I really could do it. Sort of just getting a bit more familiar with some of those, particularly the complex ones like the Euclidean circles and the QD. I mean, the QD is easy enough to get drum sounds up and running and play about with them, but there are deeper layers in it which I've never really quite got to yet. So yeah, I kind of sort of at the same sort of place as you. Like I kind of got to the place where I'm quite happy with a lot of the stuff that I've got, but if I do add a module here and there, it's just to sort of enhance something that I've already got. Like it might just be like the ring mod, for example. But it's just I've got ring mod modules, right? But nothing sounds like that. I mean, I was playing at the start of the show. It's crazy how good that sounds. Like just those little sort of tiny harmonic nuances that it just comes out because it's all analog. It's just beautiful. So I was
It's the Rachael one, right?
It's the Rachael,
the Rachael one from.
From BlackCorporation. Yeah, I noticed the T-shirt. That's awesome.
That's Rachael.
And that wasn't planned at all.
Oh, right, because I was going.
Wow.
I was going to ask you who that was. No, it's Hello, Rachael.
Hello, Rachael.
Yeah. Hello, Rachael.
Yeah.
That's CRE module. That one of the is supposed to distort like the old Mackie CR desks. That sounded actually really awesome. That sounded fantastic.
That little baby.
So, because I was wondering just how much drive it actually gives, but clearly it gives a lot. So, that level,
that level's on probably 0.1 right now. You can see that's just next to my finger there. It's almost to the far as left as I can. So I could really heat that thing right up if I wanted to. Don't forget, it is going from. It's going from that into another preamp as well, so that will, obviously create craziness.
I've struggled to get those sorts of those distorted fuzzy sounds. I mean, you can try, but you need to stick it through another VCA and then back into the filter, so it's got more level. And I think, well, I quite fancy one of those actually. Well, guess what now? Yeah.
I mean, I've got plenty of VCAs as well, and I kind of find that sometimes, like for example, the System 500 VCAs, they don't behave like a preamp behaves, and it's obvious because that's really kind of not what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to behave like a VCA behaves. So it's kind of weird because you'd think, okay, an amplifier is an amplifier. Well, not quite. There's subtlenesses between this stuff. So yeah, definitely do your research on that. Anyway, what we might do though is we might get cracking because we've got a big show and we've got lots of news and lots of stuff. But we've been neglecting all the segments, so let's do the segments. Yay! Let's get stuck into it. Funny Side has arrived. Hello, Mr. Wakeman. What are you doing there, mate? This is your Facebook page. What are you doing? He's a bit concerned about tonight's piano stall, in quotes, in St. Louis. I follow here. He's a funny man. That was really, really quite funny. Good on you, Rick. Good to see you still got a sense of humour, mate. Mum, stop playing with your food, me. Yes.
Oh, that's really good.
The Cucumbers is the name of the band. What else we got? These FM algorithms, are they in the room with us right now? So that one was sent.
I can relate.
That one was sent in by Future World Machines, who's actually one of our channel members. So big thanks to you, buddy, for that. He did that in the Patreon during the week. In the Discord, sorry. And the last one, I like this one because we showed this VST a couple of weeks ago. And here's our famous guy who likes to compare things that are stupid. Why would you go and buy an Access virus when you can now just have a free one? And it's kind of not quite right, but I mean, we'll let this one go through. I mean, I'm playing with this thing right now, and I literally have an Access Virus C ROM loaded in, and it sounds just like an Access Virus C, bar the the output behind that comes out the back of an Access Virus. If that has any sort of special amps or filtering or bass boosting or anything like that, if that has anything like that in it, like Roland tend to do with them in their synths, then you'll lose that because your sound card doesn't have that. But other than that, all the sounds sounded amazing. I actually was mucking around with one of the guys in Discord where we were putting an Access Virus patch through the System 500 VCA just to see what we could do and noise gate it and all sorts of crazy stuff. So yeah, lots of fun. Lots of fun. Right, we should probably... What was your favourite chatties of your... And also video guests, what was your favourite meme this week? We should always ask that. I reckon has to be Rick, surely. Rick was pretty good. Wigoo says the cucumber drums was genius and does it well with emoticons there. What about you, Burg? What was your favourite? You can catch up. All right, we are gonna go straight into news. I think. Bang. Oh, he's got the right. He's done it right. Yes, this week we have lots of news to get through, and we're going to start with this baby. This is not the correct title for that. What the hell's going on here? I always have. I test this show out every single friggin'... There we go. I test this thing out, and then when I go live, what happens? It just goes berserk. All right, here we go. Frequency Central's Berlin School. This is the sequencer, guys. And we have video. Let's play the video. So what is it? What is this sequencer? It is a 8-step sequencer based on the CD4017 Johnson counter chip. It features 8 steps, obviously, with pop controls, as you can see there, diagonally spewing across from the top left to bottom right. Different clock divisions there, though. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 clock divisions, quantized CV control for that as well, and you also have 1 volt for octave transpose, which is very, very handy. A lot of sequencers don't have transpose, and you actually have to do your transposing on your VCO, which sometimes can be a bit problematic. So that's handy having it on the sequencer itself. And obviously it's also got quantized chromatic output as well. Switches for 40, or whatever is it, 4, 8 and 6. Is that how I read it? It's probably a bit hard for you guys to see. 4, 8 and 6 steps. I think it's just underneath that badge there. I don't think you can ever have enough sequencers because every time you buy a sequencer, they're always different, right? Berlin School is kind of, it's saying what type of sequencer this is. So thoughts, Mr. Brooks?
It's a step sequencer. What I'd like to know is, because I couldn't quite work out how it was doing it, was how it was changing the pattern. Was it using another module to actually transpose it up and down, or was it being done from some other trigger, like you could perhaps send out a pitch CV from something like a key step and transpose, like the key step can transpose its own sequencer just from the keyboard, and the Pro 1 can do that. I'm sure it must be possible then to transpose other sort of step sequences in a similar way, but I can do something similar by sending a control voltage into the depth for quantizer, but I'm not being quite happy with the results of that, to be honest. So I was intrigued as to how that was happening, because that's obviously a nice thing to be able to do, because obviously just 8 steps repeating round and round and round gets a bit tedious, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, as I was playing before.
Yeah, they were doing something to bring in a variation of pitch, which is nice.
Yeah, so that transpose CV part of it, obviously is what that is doing that, and then what he was doing is he was changing from 4 to 8 to 6 steps, because that is your Berlin School sort of standard, which I find interesting because there is a step button on it, and there's also a transpose knob on it as well. So you don't actually have to take the CV input; you can actually do something directly on the module, which I thought it was interesting anyway. So if you, I will go back to this. If you guys are looking for links, I've decided the best way to do links, because there's so many news items and it saves me having to paste thousands of links in the show, is go to the blog article at the end of the show, which will be live, and then there'll be links to everything in there. So that's the way we're going to do that. Just to wrap this up, it's $210 and it's available now. Burger, you got a comment to make quickly about the Frequency Central?
Oh, I love that. I mean, 8 steps is more than you need, right? That's one of the best ways to create these monotonous, evolving synth landscapes, if you will, right? So when I do techno, I always, go back to the 8-step sequence, because you could even go 5, right? Even smaller if you want to, but because when you have this repeating cycle going on, it just creates a different type of vibe altogether. I have the Octone from Qubit, I think, in my rack already since before.
Yeah.
And it kind of sort of does the same 8-step thing, but a little bit different. And I really like the idea of having the transpose input as well, because that gives you the Tangerine Dream-esque type of things, right? You can do this short, then you can do those really 70s type of things as well. So if I had space, I would probably get one of these. I really liked it. Yeah,
it's pretty compact too. It's for a sequencer. It's pretty compact because they've got that diagonal sort of step thing from top left to bottom right, and so that therefore makes it quite a narrow module. Yeah. By the way, Frequency Central makes some really, really good modules. Like, for example, they actually did do a lot of clones of the System 100 stuff, and I've actually got one of their modules in here, which is the envelope generator. I love the envelope generator they made because it's only about 4 HP. And it's got the same size knobs. I'll show you guys that a bit later anyway. What we'll do though is we'll keep going because we've got 9 of these things to get through. So that's that one done and dusted. The next one is this thing. This is the Error Instruments Mechanical Resonator. Oh, check this video out. Yeah. Check this out.
I know. I love it.
Don't you just want one? Don't you?
Yeah. I got a feel
we're all gonna have one, aren't we?
Yeah.
I was secretly hoping this.
Will you just play with my spring for a bit? Fondle my spring.
Yeah.
Look at that. That is so cool.
And I just thought, yeah.
This is the best bit. Listen to this.
Oh, it sounds mental. I love it. I want to get 10 of these.
Calm down.
There's method in my madness. This is why I show you guys some of this stuff, because when I watch these videos, like my ears are having gasms. BVR Instruments make some really, really cool stuff. I've already got a spring reverb, which is the dope for one. You can never have enough spring reverbs. No, this thing is actually it's cool.
You can actually, right in the front. I know you can mount them so you can have the spring, so you can see the springs on, so you can have a separate spring tank and things. But I have to be honest, Ranzee, so I was hoping that was going to have passed you by, because now you've let the cat out of the bag.
You're a shot. We don't know how much this thing is, by the way, so you can salivate as much as you like. We don't have a price.
Matter. It doesn't matter.
$1 million. When you're smoking that big Cuban cigar.
Yeah,
it'll be about 150, I reckon. We'll have a see, but I don't think it'll be hugely expensive because it's probably not actually all that complex. I mean, it's just our basic spring with pickups and a bit of a drive circuit and stuff going.
Oh yeah,
but it just looks awesome. It sounded fantastic, and I don't think I'd want to use it as a reverb as such. I like the sound it was doing as a processor was just.
Yeah,
something else, which really and not hugely out. Just that works. I like that very much.
It's good, isn't it? So they're actually really selling this as a drum percussion module as such. So because it is a resonator, the core is actually based around an acoustic string, sort of with a pickup and a microphone, right? So, but it does actually have a digital engine behind it, which probably does help a lot. There is also a trigger input that gives you a second option to generate sounds, and also there allows you to create a whole bunch of sort of bassy, plucky, electrostatic, noisy sort of timbres and stuff like that. And it just really sort of starts heading us down that physical modelling path, people that we like. This is the physical modelling stuff.
Goose just said 220 euros on modular grid.
Okay,
which is a bit.
That sounds fair.
Yeah. Well, I mean, how many? It's not a.
What's the dope for? The dope is about 180, isn't it, for the spring reverb?
I think it's as much as that. I'm gonna have to check that because I was looking. Now I've forgotten.
This is not a spring reverb.
Well, they have different
though.
No. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I have to see what I can throw out to put that in. Just got it in his face.
What are the chatties saying about it? Let's have a quick look. Modular grid rate is 220 euros, which is a bit oof. Yeah, maybe inaccurate. Sometimes we don't really know what the prices are. But hey, like I just said, I just spent all that money on that Mordax Data, and it doesn't really make any sound. Anyway. What else?
Here's because I missed what you were saying about the Mordax. I know we're in the middle of the news, but is it proving useful to you in more than just showing you as pretty pictures and tuning?
It's a tutorial tool for me, so it'll be like an educational thing because I do a lot of videos where I'm actually showing kind of quite technical aspects to modular. That's where it shines. But I mean, look, there's other algorithms that can be loaded. There's a whole we can go into another discussion, but there's a whole bunch of stuff.
Leave that for another time when you do a video.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see that too.
Oh, you can just chat to me offline about it too. All right, we are going to keep going because. What about this? This came out. I think it was during the week where I had the week off, and I was chatting to some of the guys on. I think it was it on Kent's show, Technobass? I can't remember now. I was chatting to someone about this on some show. The Roland Juno 60 chorus plugin from Roland Cloud. This is their own thing, and I kind of find this stuff interesting because yeah, like, do they really need to do this? By the way, you could already get the Juno chorus sound through the Zen Core Effects thing. But anyway, let's have a listen to it. Let's have a little listen. So, whoa, bless you guys. This is basically free if you have already got a subscription to the Roland Cloud. There's also a free trial. So technically it's free for a limited time if you don't want to pay them any money, but ultimately you will be paying a subscription to the Roland Cloud for this. Couple of quick ones before I go to you guys. I just find it a little bit frustrating how they don't want to add any more controls to, they just want to keep it traditional. So, and also, what is with the 1 and 2 button? I mean, didn't we just used to mash the 1 and 2 buttons in at the same time to get 1 and 2? Like, I don't really know why they needed the 1 and 2 button. Anyway.
Yeah, I think it's hard to press 2 buttons at the same time in a VST, right? So that
could be it. Yeah. What do you guys think of that?
Well, I mean, I used to have a few Rolands back in the day, the JX3P and the 106. And I think that if you're looking for the standard classic Juno chorus, this is exactly, up your alley, right? But other than that, I don't really know what to say. Like you said, Rance, I mean, it's the limitation really that might be a little bit off-putting, a little bit depending on the price, obviously, of the plugin as well. But I mean, limitations can sometimes be fun, but for a chorus like this, I'm not so sure, right? So I probably wouldn't be putting my money in there. I have too many choruses already. So what's the cost if you buy it standalone? Do we know that yet?
I don't. Someone in chat can probably do that sort of research for us. Wigoo's usually pretty quick on that.
Yeah.
Obviously, I can't tell Wigoo what to do. But if it's $10, okay, but if it's like $50, nah, not so sure. But then again, I mean, having these old classic choruses are fun when you're using them on old hardware as well, on synths that might not have this chorus. So, to get that Roland-esque sound on, your Matriarch, whatever, maybe that could be a fun thing, right? So for that purpose, maybe it'll work. But I'm not super thrilled about it, but I can understand why it's out there, okay? Yep. Brooksy?
Can't get it. And I don't have Roland Cloud. And it's another Juno chorus. Really? Does the world need another one of those? I can't get excited about it.
Is the tower
Robbie
one
was being
free?
very rude about the graphics.
Is the tower one free?
On it.
The tower one
you
that
can
you can
download
get.
that. But it's not really my sphere, that plugin thing, really. So I'm sure there'll be a lot of people who get a lot of pleasure from it. Those people who bought into the Roland Cloud and use it regularly, they may well go, "Oh, that's great! Oh, and it sounds just what I need."
Yeah,
I'm sure there'll be a lot of people get a lot of pleasure from it. So because we all know a good chorus is lovely. I mean, it's got to be said. But I just wonder how many more of them do we want?
Yeah, I don't know.
They've got too many.
I don't really
many
need
as you
one.
want.
I don't need one because I've got this beautiful thing here, the 106 chorus, which has got the MN 3009 Bucket Brigade delay chip in it, and it's as analog as you can get. So, bye-bye, Mr. Digital World. Anyway, chatties, have a quick peek on what they're saying. I've got access to it, so I could probably show you guys it if you want to. Yeah, so as Native VS said, the Tower one is free, and the Arturia one was free as well. And I've actually got the Arturia one as well, so I probably don't really need it. But anyway, thanks, Roland, for making it. Because if you do have if you do have the Roland Cloud, this is basically a free thing for you. If you do have it, that's the caveat, though. That's right. This is the caveat.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm going to echo what David Surchak said a bit earlier on. Want more modules, Roland? I mean, whether it's Eurorack modules or just another nice little box. Now, I know you'll say, well, actually, the Boss division makes nice guitar pedals, and there'll be a nice guitar pedal chorus that will do pretty much the same thing.
Yeah.
But, you know, yeah, come on, they could stick some of these out for us. Anyway, enough said.
Yeah, look, hey, you know, they did a really good thing with Studio Electronics. They did a really good thing with Maleco. So they could keep those little partnerships going and punch out some really cool stuff if they wanted to. And not to mention the two JD series synths with the analog gear in it. So the JDXi, the little mini one, and the JDXA, the bigger one with the 4-voice version. They were actually a really good analog synth that built into digital hybrid. So Roland can punch some good stuff out if they want to. We will talk about Roland in a second again, so fair warning here, people. That is the end of Roland Juno Chorus for now. What about this, the BVR Instruments TS1? Now, this is actually a pretty interesting thing. This is a, let me get my notes because I am getting behind myself here and trying to sync videos up and stupid YouTube ads are playing. Sorry. Really annoying. So we are looking at a 4-nose sort of sequencing channel thing here. Notice there's an OLED display, right? So it is up to 64 steps per pattern, total of 99 patterns. Drums are divided into 2 channels, each with 4 tracks, and equal number of steps patterns. The TS1 offers 6 channels of MIDI sequencing, which is really interesting. You'll see that in the video in a sec. Whereas the first 2 channels of CV sequencing and CV gate outputs are on the front, as well as the 4 first channels of trigger sequencing, which provides 4 visible trigger outputs on the polyphonic track, right? Because it's MIDI, don't forget, and you can see the big MIDI input on the left underneath the title. You see it in the video in a sec. It can support up to 198 trigger patterns, 198 note patterns, and 98 chord patterns. There's a whole bunch of other stuff in here. Let's watch the video because I'm talking too much and the video will show us. So that is the TS1. It's a trigger sequencer, and yes, it doesn't actually make any sounds. It's obviously got the little OLED display and everything in there.
Come on, since what was that, a telemark?
It's $389. So, look, before you guys make your comments, just where does this fit in the market? Basically, someone has probably said to themselves, I want to control all my gear from my modular. That's probably where this has come from. And I don't want to take up like 75 HP have a massive, huge, omnibus module. So I want a nice little compact thing and I want to kind of just fiddle around with it. That's probably where it's come from. Brooksy, what do you think?
I think that's pretty much what I was going to say, really. It's about controlling everything from in your rack rather than having other things. Having sort of finally got my head around what trigger sequences actually are and what they do and how you can use them. I say got my head around. I'm not the BeatStep Pro and the Euclidean circles. I've been basically using as trigger sequences, and it's quite liberating in many ways. I mean, those 16 buttons on the BeatStep Pro, which you can press to send out the triggers on a particular drum channel, to actually advance the steps through on, say, the 960 sequencer, to actually make it have a different rhythm than just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and so on, has been all right. Yeah, that's great. So, and that's a lot of fun. So I can see absolutely the reason why you'd have that. Having MIDI in it, I can understand why somebody would want to. I haven't. It's like having your MPC and turning it inside out, isn't it? I mean, it's doing it backwards. But
Yep.
I do understand it, and so you've got different levels of sequencing. You can also do things with MIDI, you know. And I think it's probably a really cool box that I'd like to know more about, just how it works and how you integrate it, because it wasn't immediately clear from what was happening on the screen quite what was going on really. But I do get the concept of that.
Yeah. Yeah. Burg, quick comment from you?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have the time to look this up on prior to the show due to this short time notice, but from what I understand, this is sort of kind of a Pamela's type of workout with song and, you know, chaining possibilities, right? You create patterns in songs and send them out as triggers, right? And from that perspective, you know, I have a PAMS, and I think it's lovely. I think it has 8 outputs or something like that. And for me, it, you know, handles, you know, it can do triggers, it can do envelopes, it can do all kinds of things, right? But it doesn't have like a programmable song mode where you can change patterns and, you know, mess things around. And I think that could be an interesting addition to like a trigger sequencer where you can have different patches and, you know, parts or, you know, sequences or whatever that you can swap between, right? So that to me makes a lot of sense. But, you know, I think I have to read up on it a little bit more to understand the workflow better, to see what feature sets it has, you know, beneath the surface. But all in all, I think this is an interesting addition, right? Because from a performance aspect, if you have like a live setup, you have one of these little boxes and you can control triggers to multiple things for multiple songs during a live set, for example.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense to me. So, but I'm not 100% sure this is the case, so I have to do a little bit of, you know, background check. But maybe you can fill in there, Rance, when it comes to the feature sets.
Yeah. No, I think you've got it spot on.
Similar thoughts.
Spot on.
Yeah.
Tradies are saying kind of similar thing. They're talking about the OLED a little bit about that though. So that is, to me, it's. I mean, look, it's in Eurorack. So if it was in a massive, huge desktop synth, let's talk about tiny little displays. But it's Eurorack, so we're not sort of like blessed with, you know, massive displays. You don't want to take up HP. As it stands right now, looking at that, it's got quite large buttons and knobs on it. So from that point of view, it's kind of inviting, you know, to go in that way. So I don't know. Design-wise, it's interesting. I don't know if I would agree with some of the choices that they've made on it, but definitely the whole song part of it is definitely a cool thing. Right.
Yeah.
Next is, obviously, we have to talk about this because here is another Roland chain of synths that have come out. Now, I mean, this is the Phantom Zero. So basically what this is, if you're living under a rock, these are 6, 7, and 8 octave versions of the same synth and pretty much exactly the same control. If that little title thing, if I move that out of the way for you guys, just give it a sec. There we go. If I turn that off, there we go. You can see that the control is exactly the same for all 3 models. It's just more octaves. All right. Now, the whole thing about this synth is that it's actually really pretty much the same as the previous Phantom. It's got the sampling engine in it, which, by the way, I'm actually really interested in. I'll talk about that in a minute. It's got the Zen Core, the Supernatural, and it's also got the Tone Wheel, the organ engine as well in it. So in terms of it being, if you were performing on a stage, the original Phantom synth, which was quite a heavy synth, was a bit of a pain to lug around. Although I believe the original Phantom had aftertouch, these do not, from what I understand, do not have aftertouch. Why, Roland, are you still releasing synths like the Studio System 8, without aftertouch? It's just so basic. Just put it in. I don't know why they do it. Anyway, let's check out the video. I can't even remember what number I'm up to. It's just be guessing now, I think. I think it's this one. No, that's the next one. Give me a second. Sorry, guys. I just lost track of where I was. Okay, here we go.
I'm Roland, and this is Phantom O. Inheriting the sound, workflow, and the ease of use of the top-of-the-range Phantom model, Phantom O is the pinnacle of synthesizer portability and versatility, making it perfect for live performance and music production. Available in 3 key configurations to suit your workflow and playing style, Phantom O has an easy-to-use and intuitive user interface with no confusing modes of operation. It's built around a clear and responsive high-resolution touchscreen and gives you complete hands-on control of your sound right from the front panel. It features a large selection of controls to adjust parameters in real time, including faders, knobs, wheels and buttons, as well as dedicated filter controls and 16 performance palettes. Phantom O features our latest expandable Zen Core synthesis system, plus sampling capabilities, a fast built-in sequencer, and deep computer integration with popular DAWs. All of this means that Phantom O can truly be the creative hub at the heart of your setup. Let's take a listen to Phantom O's sounds. It has multiple tones.
Let's not do that because you guys can do that in your own time. One thing I will say quickly before I go to these two gentlemen here. In terms of a synth that you guys may want as a standalone, does a lot of stuff, this could be the one for you. And I'll tell you why. Because the actual, if you look at that layout, it's actually very, very quite intuitive. It's got really good, it's got a really nice screen on it. We're talking about small screens before. That's actually a decent sized screen. It is a touch screen. It's got pads, it's got sliders, it's got knobs. All of them are configurable. And it also has a sequencer, it has a sampler. It has the Supernatural engine, which is the one precursing the Zen Core. It has the Zen Core engine as well. It also has the organ engine called the Tone Wheel. And as I mentioned before, it has the sampling. But also it has a 4x32 USB audio interface and DAW arrangement connections. Guys, what do you think? Apart from the fact that it may not have aftertouch.
I mean, this is a tough one, right? So, workstations in general has never been my forte when it comes to, selection of instruments for my studio. But I can definitely see this, for the working musician, as in the guys that go performs like live gigs, do cover band, whatever, playing at restaurants and bars and pubs and whatnots, right? And having everything at your disposal, you have all the sounds, you can set up kits, you can pre-program, even if you're playing by yourself, like the karaoke type of guys singing and playing with the keyboard, or if you're playing in a band, right? So from that perspective, I think it makes a lot of sense, right? And maybe also if you're like a beginner home musician, rather than having one of those big old organs that we had back in the day, right? So like an instrument that you play at home, to have a little bit more than a standard piano. But at that point, I think my ideas of where to actually position an instrument like this goes away. So I don't know, where to take it next. What's the price range is also pretty steep, right? It's like 2,000 grand for the biggest one, like 1,400 for the cheap one. That's a lot of money, for beginner instruments. So it has to be at least somewhat targeted towards the, the professional musician, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm not sure, who is the target audience. I'm certainly not the target person for one of these keys and instruments, but I can understand that there's a market. And looking at the Phantom 8, and they're like, 2 times the price. So the shortcomings being aftertouch is not there. Maybe there's some other stuff, some other, engines that are not in there, right? So, but yeah, this is a tough one for me. I don't really know where to put it. So I think I just stop it there because I'll just ramble.
No, it's good. Some good views. Andy, your thoughts?
Well, I think it probably sounds fantastic. If it's got all of those, it's probably a very deep machine in terms of its synthesis capabilities and its sequencing capabilities. I remember I watched the video where they were showing us a bit like how Ableton works as well. So it's got that sort of element built in. It was really interesting to hear Richard Hilton's take on it last night on ProSynth Network, actually, that he was saying that actually for the kind of work that he does as a performing musician, the aftertouch thing isn't necessary. It doesn't come into it at all. And I think for a lot of pianist type players, aftertouch is something that isn't actually all that instinctive. I have to think about it. When I want to use aftertouch, I've got to think, well, I'm going to press the key now and make some aftertouch happen. It's not something that comes into my playing style, although I know that for many other people it will be a huge omission. Well, he was really, really excited about this as an instrument that he will be able to use and gig with all over the world. Whereas what they've been using and what they got used to is now probably getting a bit old. And I think he's seriously thinking of going over to that as a platform, which is a pretty big endorsement, really. So I do think that the point at which it's priced, it is a hefty chunk, as Ollie was just saying. It's a big slab. It's up against other things that are perhaps similar. I mean, Yamaha have got their range of things. Part of me still hankers after something like the CP88 digital piano, which I've played and I absolutely loved, and I really. But then at the price of either of those, you're sort of scratching your head and thinking, would it be better to go for the Phantom 08 then, perhaps, maybe? Or it's just, I think you just have to play with the different things that are out there at this sort of price point and come to the decision as to which one will suit you. But I think, yeah, for gigging musicians, I think it will be an extremely reliable box. I think it's something that you'll be able to do so much with. In a studio, I suspect it could form a nice centerpiece and we'll be able to control the things around it. I mean, but there are alternate. I mean, there's these things that do all that sort of stuff too. Okay, but I mean, yeah, it's from Roland. It's always going to have some pluses and minuses. But I thought it looked great. I really did. I thought at first glance, I thought that looks really attractive, and I could probably cheerfully see one of those in here. It's not going to happen, but I thought, well, if I had one, yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah.
I just waffled for a bit there, didn't I?
No, you were good.
But yeah, well worth going and listening to what Richard said on Pro Synth Network about it
definitely.
last night, because he said it better than I can.
Richard's a pretty big fan of Roland stuff too. So and he does love the Roland sound, and I think that's part of his kind of his back end. But
the key
on
bed
the side,
for him was much of the thing that he said it's got that key bed in it, and that's really important for me. And I thought I can understand why if you're a professional and that's something you're used to and the way you play and it suits you, I can really understand him being quite keen.
Yeah. Just quickly before we move on to the next one, the sampling engine on that is kind of the thing that's kind of raising one eyebrow from me. I don't need a sampler because I've got MPCs and things like that. But I've watched a video where they had Ed Diaz and a guy from the UK, and the guy from the UK, they were doing like a cross show where they were sort of streaming between the two. And he sampled the SEO2 into it. And then all of a sudden he was playing polyphonic SEO2, and it was really kind of intuitive how that sampler worked. Like it showed the waveform on there. You could start end waveforms, and you could quickly get that in. And then on top of that, you added all your Roland effects in. And because this is part of the Zen core, you're going to be able to have things like Juno choruses and all the beautiful sort of reverbs and the boss sounds and that. And all of a sudden now you're going to be, you could be sampling a Eurorack and then bringing it through some of those kind of nice digital VST sort of sounds. And they are talking it up about this whole connectivity to your DAW, and the Zen core cloud stuff will be integratable and swappable on this too. So that's something that's, it may really be important to people, like you said, who perform, but also if you're tinkering around in your studio, you can create your own, sound fonts, your own timbres, do it on Eurorack, mix it in with the Roland gear, go crazy with it. I didn't think the price was too bad. I thought $14.99. I mean, I probably wouldn't get the bigger keybeds anyway. I think the 6 version for me kind of did it for me. I keep having take that thing off. Sorry. The 6 version I thought did it for me because I don't know. I've already got a big keyboard somewhere else. So I don't really need it to be in that. And I think 6 octaves for me is plenty for what I do. But that's just me. Other people will disagree. Other people will say, I need 8 octaves, and go for it. You can rest your beer on left or right hand side of all the controls if you like, if that's what you want. We shall move on. We've got another thing here. Yes, we do need to talk about this. This is not synth related, but this is production related. And I'm kind of, I don't want to blow this out into like a massive, huge show about this stuff. Let me just get this video lined up for you guys. Just give me a sec. The M1 Ultra is actually a new computer from Apple, if you don't know about this already. Let's have a little listen to what they say anyway.
Gigs of RAM.
There is no delay. It's just a toggling, like a light switch.
You don't actually have that time to stir your coffee because the file just opens and you're like, oh, okay, let's get to work.
Hi, I'm Anna, and I work at Ableton as a software developer. Principal product manager at Adobe for motion graphics.
I'm Ruby at Vectorworks.
I'm Ellie Wade, and I work at Maxon.
Larissa Supnick. I'm the lead Sapphire developer.
3D designer, and I specialize in fabric simulation.
What we're really seeing with the M1 Ultra is a faster workflow from very first launch all the way through to final export. The UI is more fluid, previewing's faster. If you can speed up every one of those loops, you keep people in their creative flow.
Getting that kind of performance change between generations is really amazing.
Now a designer can say, I want this change and I want to do this, and do that instantly.
Scene rendering is up.
So I really aren't going to make you guys go through listening to all that marketing waffle. But basically what they are saying is they're pitching this to the creative market, which has been probably Apple's stalwart for many, many years. It's the creative market that buy their stuff. But really, what is the Ultra? It's basically two Max chips, the M1 Max chips, fused together, and they've got this technology this technology that they've called Ultra Fusion, where they can get the two chips to talk to each other very, very quickly. And this is, if you listen to between the stupid marketing ramble that they talk about, that actually is a bit of truth in there. So they've come up with something really, really cool. If you then marry that whole idea with the fact that they've got the higher 64-core GPU, the neural engine, and the memory tied in with the CPU processing, that it is true. Their applications, the fact that it's an ARM processor, it's not Intel, are going to be producing a lot more things like rendering videos, more VSTs on your Ableton or your Logic or whatever. Anyway, let's have a little quick talk about this. One thing I kind of want to insert in your thoughts while we're talking about this, though, is the fact that none of this stuff is upgradable. So when you buy this, you're buying basically a box. You'll use that box until you outlive it. So unlike the PC market where you can, increase the memory and none of this stuff is upgradable. So it's a pretty big buy-in price. You're looking at about $4,000 sort of US for the sort of entry model, and then it goes up to probably about $6,000 or $7,000. So who wants to go first? Who's an Apple person?
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of target group or how would you say it? One of the person who would actually buy one of these devices, right? Because looking at myself, I mean, I have this Apple MacBook here on the right-hand side. This is a 9-year-old laptop, and I'm still using it, right? So the fact that it's not upgradable doesn't really mean anything to me because I could use it for almost 10 years. And that, for me, putting that amount of money down that I did 9 years ago, and it's still serving me a purpose, even though that it might just be like a surf laptop browsing machine, it still has a job in my day-to-day setup, right? So for me, I've been looking at these laptops that they built first, the M1 Pro Max or whatever they were called, but I got a little bit pissed off because the pricing was way out there, right? Just to get the performance that I need in my studio going forward, because my main computer is about to die and I need to have it swapped out really, really soon. And having the M1 Max Pro and also the M1 Ultra now coming out in this new Apple Studio setup, the new little desktop type of thingy, for me, it's a perfect thing, right? Because I can invest quite significant amount of money, but this will be like an investment 10 years down the road. Because I know this from history, from previous, computers that I've had in my setup, that this will live for a very, very long time, right? And also going from, I have a PC now, by the way, in my studio, so I have to migrate from PC to Apple, and the M1 chipset obviously doesn't have support for all of the applications out there yet, are not M1 ready. But having a super powerful machine, I can run all that stuff under Rosetta, which really allows me to migrate really smoothly into the new chipset, right? So for me, this is a blast, right? It will cost me, I don't know what the M1 Pro, not the Ultra version. I'm going to get the cheaper version. It's going to be like maybe $3,000 or $3,500 US dollar. Yeah, something like that, right? And that's an investment over 10 years, so that's $350 a year, right? That's how I see it. And for me, it makes a lot of sense to have my computer thrown out, because I actually had my main computer crash twice during the prefix of the show, because it doesn't really handle stuff anymore. So getting a new machine into place is really what I need right now. So I'm like the target. It's like they built this machine for me, right? And I'm not an Apple fanboy or anything, but for me, it just makes sense to have something that works and it doesn't interrupt your workflow. You will have all the power that you need until you need to swap it out 10 years later. You just buy the bigger, shinier, newer machine, right? So for me, it makes a lot of sense, right? And one thing, just a small, little tiny thing on the Apple Studio, they put the headphone jack on the back for some weird reason. And I'm not like, dudes, why the hell do you do that? Who wants to go on the back and fiddle with your headphones, right? You should be on the front.
Yeah.
Other than that, I'm a happy camper. I'm going to get one of these, a couple of 3 months down the line, for sure.
Yeah, cool.
And yeah, also adding to the fact, that I do mixed work. I do both music and video and graphics production. So for me, it's a good mix of having the power in one of the same machines. I don't have to buy, super expensive graphics cards, GPUs and whatnots to chuck in there, right, to make it work. Everything works in the box.
Yeah. Just before I go to you, Andy, I'll just to sort of, this is more just for you, Burg, but I've got an Apple M1 Mac Mini. I've had that since 2021 when they first came out.
Yeah.
And I've been riding the whole is it ready to support this software sort of ride from the start. And it hasn't been too bad. And I've been communicating with you guys about things that have come out. I was on the beta testing for Ableton for the M1 stuff. And I'm very, very impressed with just a Mac Mini, which is less than $1,000. It's so cheap. The amount of, I've got the 16 gig RAM, so I maxed it out. It does everything I need to do. And I do video editing and stuff on that as well. So anyway, I just thought I'd let you know. So this stuff, the Max and the Ultra, these are going to be like so much more powerful than my little M1. And my M1, I'm very happy with just in its infant state as it is. So Brooksy, what are your thoughts? You've just got yourself a computer, so you're probably not really interested in this.
Well, I upgraded last year from a 10-year-old PC, which really was pretty much on its last legs, and there were some issues with coming over to a more modern PC. I mean, it's by no means the most powerful sort of PC you can get either. So it wasn't hugely expensive, but it was considerably better and more powerful than what I had before, and it's currently doing its job quite nicely. But I am not a power user, like Ollie was just saying. He's doing a lot of audio, a lot of video editing, a lot of stuff like that, and it makes sense. If you are doing that, I suppose it makes a lot of sense. And the way he explained the idea of it, you think of it as a 10-year investment. You buy one of these, you're going to have it for 10 years, nothing else, and therefore it comes out at £350 a year. And you go, well, actually, that's not so bad when you put it like that, because my computer's going to come out at £40 a year by that sort of thinking, but it's not the same deal.
Yeah.
If I suddenly found myself in a position where I had £4,000 to spend on a computer, where I'm thinking it would be worth my while to do it, I could be tempted, actually, simply because of that argument that Ollie's just put forward. It's a machine that is going to last. Like I'm thinking that this PC in front of me now has probably only got a 3 to 4 year shelf life. In reality, that if I want to keep up with everything that's going on and the speed of it, in a couple of years' time, this one will be struggling to cope with everything, as that's the nature of the PC, really. But I can really understand why people are excited about it and want to be in that area. I'm just wondering whether in a year's time there'll be one that's half the price. And
I
then you
don't
might
think so.
that might be
Apple have never done that. I don't think that they would ever do that.
No,
I don't think there's ever
probably
any
haven't.
history of them doing it. Yeah. Look, the whole ARM.
You definitely have to buy into it, literally.
Yeah, the whole ARM story is a good one because it's a British company and they're doing really, really well. But like where you think where it's come from, these phones just got so much better and better and better over the years. Eventually, someone's like Apple have said, why are we not putting these in computers? Because they're doing really, really well in phones. Let's just pour more money into the development of that. And they've done it. And the M1 is exactly that. Linux have also, supported ARM for a while. I mean, Android supported ARM. So there's a lot of support for ARM out there. Don't feel like you are going to be left in this kind of voodoo land where hardly anything works. It's really now quite mainstream now. Everything like all the Adobe stuff runs on it, all the Ableton, all your word processing and spreadsheet, everything that you just do for your normal job. Browsers run natively on it. So yeah, it's a really, really good system to run. So yeah, if you are interested in maxing out, the Ultra is definitely the way to go, which is this thing. I am really, really impressed with that whole, the ability for them to put two chips together and then have them talk to each other. Because getting a bit sort of nerdy and talking about this, I used to work in, many, many years ago, I used to build servers which had dual processors in them, and I used to have to make motherboards and not make motherboards, but put motherboards into server cases and put AMD Opteron chips in them. And those two CPUs had to behave nicely with each other. And so there's always challenges electronically for engineers to do things like that. So what Apple have done is actually quite clever because those two CPUs aren't having to talk through some sort of front side bus or south bridge or north bridge or some sort of stupid useless thing that's going to slow the information down. So how they've done it is actually very, very cool. And I think we don't really know yet how cool this kind of technology is. I think going forward it might go another few degrees in that sense. One of the things you probably noticed too is that you can get away with less memory to do stuff. And a lot of people scratched their head when they bought the Apple stuff thinking, oh, it doesn't have enough memory because the last computer I bought had 32 gig of RAM and this one's only got 8. What? Am I going to be okay? And so, those kind of things were because the Intel platform that had so much crap going inside it for its software to run that you needed the memory for it to breathe. It's just a very interesting computing space, and I think we're going to be chuffed with that going ahead in the future. I don't think you'll be sorry, Burg, if you bought a system like that. I think it will definitely last you a long time.
Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to it because I had so many problems with my computer in the studio of late, and I've been thinking about maybe building a bigger, badder Windows machine, but I think this is a perfect time for me to do the switch. Yeah, and I will miss my machine, of course, right? Because the Windows, platform has a lot of applications and stuff like that is not available on the Mac OS X equivalent. Yeah. But it's just one of those things I have to do without. So I think I can live with it. So yeah.
Problem with me is I've got vMix, which I use to stream the show, and pretty much other than that, that's really the only thing that I must be married to Windows for. And the vMix guys are actually Australian. I've actually asked them, please make a Mac version. And they had a massive window of opportunity to do that before the ARM stuff came out because it was all Intel based. It wouldn't have been hard for them to port the code across, but now it's ARM based. They've now got a massive challenge ahead. Anyway, I digress. We have got to go to the next one. What about these things? Tangible Waves vMix. Now, I wanted to show you this because this is a Volca. This is a Volca. Yeah, different vMix. See what I did there? This is a Volca mixer. Instead of it being a useless 3-channel mixer, this is actually a 10. It's a 10-channel mixer, and it's actually not too bad. $145 so price is okay. 10-channel mixer. Notice that it's got your little Volca power outputs up the top. It's got the main DC input on the top right, and then you can power your Volcas from those four across the top. So it does 6-channel mono and 2 stereo channels, and also it's got FX send for two FX sends for each channel for the mono channels, and it's got stereo returns, which is really pretty good. I think this is actually extremely good value.
2 stereo channels.
Yeah. And the form factor, it sits with Volcas. So if you actually had a whole bunch of Volcas around it, it all sits all nice and neatly. It looks like it's all part of it. So hats off to Tangible Waves. I don't have a video to show you guys, but
it's what the Volca mix should have been in the first place.
It's definitely. There was another company that tried to do a Volca mix, but if you think to yourself, wow, why don't they make a Eurorack version? They have.
You've stolen me. Oh, have they?
So they do. It's called the compact mixer for Tangible Waves. This is $118, so it's even cheaper, and it's got exactly the same stuff. It's got the 6 mono channels, the 2 stereo channels. It's got the 2 FXNs and the 2 stereo returns. Everything's the same.
Well, you've just beat me because I didn't realise they'd done it as a Eurorack. So I was going to say, when I first saw the little bits, I was thinking, but a Eurorack, have it with the full Eurorack power supply built in. And then you could have the power distributors on the back. You could run the bus board or flying cables off the back.
Yep.
And then you've got that makes. I just thought and they've gone and done it. Well, I don't know whether they've done it so that you can have it as with bus cables and stuff. But what a great idea! And these say what 110 euros?
118 for the compact mixer for Eurorack, and 145 for the Volca version. Don't forget the Volca version's got those little power things in it as well, so it's a little bit more,
the Tesseract system.
Is this battery powered?
Needing it.
No, DC input and 9 volts DC. Yeah. Just remember too, though, that if you are sort of venturing in that. By the way, if you do buy that, I think it ships with 4 power cables as well, so you don't have to buy them. But you do need the Sony. The little yellow tip ones, because Volcas have those little 1.7 mil, not 2.5 mil DC, but 1.7. They're a little bit thinner. Anyway.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
That is that. So well done to those guys because they did a good job of that. And the last one I want to mention just briefly is, yes, Behringer have been punching out a whole bunch of, hey, look what we're going to make. So they did that Pro VS thing, and then someone said, why don't you make a Eurorack version? And they said, we've already done it. There it is there. It doesn't look like much.
I was wondering about that.
Oops, wrong one. Sorry.
All of those little Behringer synths, it was like, oh, wow, there's an opportunity. But, hey, well, they're ahead of us.
Yeah, they are. They are. So, I mean, obviously there's going to be an OLED display. I don't know if you saw the VS. I don't have a picture of it somewhere. It's, there was it was actually quite a nice video that they released during the week where you could actually listen to it. And I thought it was there's no problems from me from that sound. I thought it sounded really, really professional. I mean, obviously you used effects and stuff like that.
I thought so too. If we assume that really is the thing, are we making a big assumption? Or is it
No,
really
it was a
real?
prototype.
Is it real?
Yeah, it was a prototype.
I thought, apart from the fact that it sounded like being back in 1986, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, it sounded really nice. I thought so.
I've run out of literally of slots to do news. They did another video where they showed the Oberheim. They showed the prototype of that, and that sounded amazing as well. The guy that did that obviously was really into like bassy sounding sweeps, but other than that, it kind of got, have you done that sound enough, mate? But yeah, other than that, it was actually, it was very Oberheim-y. I'll just mention that. We can't get any of this stuff just yet though. So there's really not much more to sort of talk about. What we need to do though is we do need to go to our next segment because I'm just really going to run out of time today for you guys. So let's do Price Watch quickly. We missed out on Price Watch a couple of weeks ago And a few people got angry with me about it. They like their segments. Okay, so we'll start off with this one. This one is the
Seal Cruise.
Yeah, the Seal Cruise. Now, do I have that one? No, I don't have that one. There is going to be one live auction. This one, I think it's finished. These are Australian dollars, so just halve them for pounds, and don't know what you're going to do for US. You can work it out yourself. It's actually not a bad price, by the way. By the way, if you're wondering, sometimes I get my auctions, they're not to do with scams. They're just, I'm interested in the synth and I'm price watching it, right? It's not always about a scam. In this particular case, I'm interested in this and that's not a bad price. And you'll see that with the next one as well. This is an interesting bit of kit and it's not a bad price when you consider that's only about £800 for a Motas Electronics Motus 6.
Oh, shit.
I've never heard of that.
That's a paraphonic vector morphing synth, and it's all analog with and it's obviously got digital control on top. But these things are kind of cool. By the way, that's sold. Sorry, but yeah, if you do see these things, snap them up. That was actually a hot price, £800 for that, definitely. By the way, sometimes if you guys want to know where to get access to some of these cool auctions, have a look at Matrix Synths as a website. Matrix Synths, he does a really good job of putting some stuff up and letting you guys know about cool auctions. This one I think is still live. This is the ARP Axe. That is a hot price if that's still going for that price. That's an original ARP Axe. Someone told me about the marriage between ARP and what was the other company that took over their stuff afterwards. Sorry, mental blank.
I don't remember.
European company took after their stuff. I can't remember now. Let's do this because the auction is live. Yeah, it's still. So this is not a scam. This is not a scam. I am calling you from a... No. Anyway, basically, if you want this synth, I would definitely snap this up. This is a really, really hot price. It is in Wisconsin in the US.
Wisconsin,
so, yes. From Muskego in Wisconsin, yeah. That is a really nice looking synth. When was that made? When you get 70s, definitely, right?
Mid-70s.
Yeah, mid-70s.
Yeah. I just love the controllers. Love the controls of this thing. Oh yeah, but this will have that ARP sort of flavor sound to it. Yeah. And if you are into vintage synths, that one obviously will do you proud, I think.
Waggoo's just said Kent's got 5 of them in his kitchen cupboard.
Yeah. Now,
probably may well have.
Now, oops, wrong button. Speaking of Wagoo, we have to show you. Oh, what happened to my buttons? Ooh. We have to show this one that he sent in. This is the old keyboard. What the hell is this? It's a brick wall. What the hell is this? This was the funniest thing. Like, he sent this in through Discord. If you aren't on Discord, guys, during the week, you're missing out on some of the fun that we get up with. I'll bring up the Discord. There's the Discord link just in case you missed it. That happened during the week. Thanks, Wiggle. You actually I literally laughed out loud when you sent this in. We were talking about what type of music you'd play on this. We were talking about gravel rash on our fingers. I don't know. It was very funny. But that's Price Watch for the week. Thanks, Wiggle, for the laugh. That was really worth it, mate.
That's awesome.
Kent's just said he's got 7 axes.
It's 7 axes.
What?
Has he got an axe to grind though?
He's just put 7 in the chat.
Yeah, they're great. They're a great synth. The famous Australian band Split Ends used to use one. Eddie Rayner, the keyboardist from Split Ends, he used an axe, and he made that axe sound really good. I think it was used in "I Got You," their famous song with that. Anyway, you guys are going to be in for a treat because today. It's been a while since we've done this, but we have got yet another one of these.
This is a good. We like
Rub
this
your
section.
hands together, everybody. Are you guys ready for? I actually think you guys will get this
Not
straight
really.
away. By the way,
Only 3.
this is some people's favourite segment, and some people absolutely can't stand this segment. But anyway, if you're somewhere in between, you're probably like me. What you have to do is you have to use your ears and you have to listen. Don't let the graphics kind of fool you. But by the way, the graphics are of the synth. They might just be a little bit obscured, and it might throw you. Like last week, I noticed a lot of people thought that was a Yamaha last week, and it wasn't. It was a Korg. I can't tell you who this has been sent in from, because a lot of people are starting to look at people's gear lists to try and guess what the synth is as a tactic.
Is it Kent? Is it Kent? Is it an ARP X maybe?
I'm not going to tell you, but what I am going to do is we're going to chill out, right? We've got about 3 seconds count in. We're going to watch this. Here we go. Let's count it in. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, who's guessed it? Has anyone guessed it yet? What do you think, guys? Put your answers in the chat if you think you know what it is. Does anyone have a clue what this could be? We've had Timberwolf, we've had some Simmons drum thing, question mark, SH101. Native VS, you always say SH101. Like, come up with something better. No, I'm just joking, he doesn't. He actually guesses it most times.
Nothing better.
Craft Synth, ARP Axe. Is it an ARP Axe? No, it's not an ARP Axe. Sorry. Nice try, though. I wouldn't be that obvious, would I?
Well done, Ollie.
A Russian monosynth? Maybe. What could it be? I'll give them a little bit longer, because don't forget there's about a 10-second delay before they get to see it. Yeah. Some of those knobs look like an 80s Roland, do they? See, I remember what I said to you. Do not trust your visuals. Do not trust your visuals, because I'm about to reveal it, because it looks like anyone's Odyssey White says Skylab Music. MKS 70. Everyone's trying to think it might be me that's doing this. But what if it wasn't me? What if it wasn't me? Should we put them out of their misery? Because nobody's guessed it. Nobody has got it. And you guys are going to be slapping your forehead with, oh, I should have thought of that. I should have thought of that. All right, I'm going to put you out of your misery. Here we go.
Oh, get lost.
There you go.
Who's inflicted that on us? Oh, that was well done. Whoever did that, was that you, Ranzee, or somebody else? 'Cause that was well done. Yeah. I said MS-10. That was about as close as we got.
It was me. But I wanted to throw people off because they kept looking at my gear list. It was me. We haven't had a Volker yet, so what are the chatties saying?
You'd have thought they were so obvious that you couldn't discard. Well done.
Yes.
Off me cap.
Yeah. Kent's got off, for God's sake. I honestly thought you guys would have picked it up with a couple of the visuals here, right? So we had the colours, right? Look at the colours there. Yeah, that would have been a dead giveaway. The knob, right? The knob there.
Was it that where he was sort of stepped in funny little or decreasing steps, and I thought, I don't.
There's a blurry thing with those little, what do you call those things? Those little electronic cables that you have to plug into them. Yeah, pins. That's a photo of that. There's the graphics. I mean, it's a silver background with that color lettering. And that's the actual, every corner of the Volca, you've got those screws in them. So that would have been a dead giveaway if you owned a Volca. And what else you got? And that's the little waveform thing.
Screws.
And then there's the colour of the LEDs. That would have given it away. So, yeah, punks.
Yeah.
Hey?
Gives it away if you know what it is.
I honestly, when I did this, I thought, I won't do a Volca because everyone will just guess it. And I thought, bugger it, I'll just do it anyway. And
Adam's just said Ranzee changed the final pick and he wants a steward's inquiry.
Steward's inquiry.
Well done, Adam.
I will let you guys know. I can prove it to you. It was recorded on this directly out of the Volca. There was no effects added. The actual effects that you heard in that was it's got a little reverb engine built into it, which is actually quite nice. It's actually quite a nice little. It's kind of like a spring reverby emulator thing, which can kind of distort too if you push it too much. There's little low pass gates that go through that thing as well, and they can really snap. One of the things that annoys absolute pants about that little Volca modular is that it doesn't have MIDI in. So it's really difficult for you to control that with a keyboard or an external keyboard. So basically, that's the demo of the music that was in that was me mashing my fingers on that stupid touchpad thing and the sequencer on it as well. So and. By the way, it wasn't a sequencer playing. It was an LFO that was beating. So it was an LFO that was beating. It was like, and I was just changing the shape of the LFO to get it that sort of different envelope sort of sounds. So it was kind of fun. But I just thought, we'll do something that no one's done yet. So Volcas, now we've opened Pandora's box. People are going to be sending videos into Volcas. Now, if you do want to put a submission in to name that synth, just send it to me. The information will be on the blog post on how to get that into me. I can wear that. I can wear the Guernsey bragging for the week because I did the name of that synth and no one guessed it. Hey!
No, we got it.
Challenges out there.
No.
Challenges out. Yeah, do the Andy dance. We're idiots. Right. This is a channel of idiots. What are we up to now? Mr. Burg. Mr. Burg. You have reached the start of Mr. Burg. This is his. There'll be a link to all this in the blog article, and it's also, by the way, if you scroll down below the streaming, there's a link to this page. This is where you can get access to all the cool things that he's done. Look how busy he is. Like, how cool is this? This is called Linktree, isn't it? What do you want me to do? Do you want me to go to Mind Blender first?
Yeah,
maybe?
I mean, just pop it up. I can give you a little bit of background.
We'll do that first.
I've been making music with the Burg moniker since 2013, I think. 14, I don't remember anymore. It was a long time ago. And, it's been ups and downs in different types of styles and different types of, moods and whatever. And lately I've been having this writer's block, right? I'm having a big problem finding time and inspiration to make new with Burg. So I just thought, why just go lazy, super realistic techno or whatever, right? Because to me, you guys might not know, but I used to make techno back before I, became, but before I started making the type of project, and I toured around and played in a band of Blue Men for many years ago, and it was like a trance type of thing. So I just wanted to revisit that, old type of style, really monotonous and mystic type of music, right? So CC Fate was one out of the struggle trying to find something interesting to make with the current Burg project. So I just dropped everything, and I just took simple instruments and gear in my studio. I just thought I'm just gonna make music, no videos, no nothing, and just go straight at the bat and just try something from scratch. And this is where this project was born, and it was very liberating to be able to make so simple music, simple in terms of comparison. Before, it's not as complex with transitions and stuff. You have to more the subtle things, right? So 48 is or
Hey, just pause you for a sec there, mate. You're breaking up, and I've just noticed a few people. What we might do, we'll get your internet just to settle down a little bit. I might just quickly cross over to this. Can I just play the Mind Blender just for a second? He's giving me the thumbs up. So we've got authority. Let's just give this a whirl first, and we'll see if we can get his internet to calm down a bit. He wants me to scroll a bit, so I'm just going to scroll a bit.
I don't know if you guys can hear me now.
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right, good.
Should we go back to you? See if we'll give it another crack. You're still a little bit blurry. We'll see how you go.
Blurry. Let's give it a try. So, as you probably heard, it's very minimal. It's not, there's not that many big transitions, not that many melodies. It's just built for the dance floor, right? And for me, it makes a lot of sense to try to go that original route where I made techno back in the day. And for me, it's very, it doesn't sound like any Burg. I don't think so. A lot of minor tingle tangles going on in the background to help create that tension that I usually like. So for me it was a big thing, getting to just dropping the Burgs a little while, doing this project here, and having some fun and just playing with the gear, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know if you guys could catch that, but it's been great fun.
Oh mate, I'm a big fan of your stuff. Definitely a big fan of your stuff. Now we, I kind of want to talk about this, the writer's block, right? We probably should do a show. I think we did one a few years ago, and it's probably worth doing it again. In the future. But just briefly, let's have a chat about it. Like, so Burg, you actually went and started collabing with some other people, and that kind of helped you getting out of that writer's block, didn't it? That was kind of one of the tactics you had. So tell us a little bit about that.
It was. I mean, for me, there's multiple things that I do when I have writer's block. Obviously, I always spend time in the studio, even though that I'm not making anything, from my perspective, a useful track. Just be around the gear and making whatever it is and things and loops and stuff like that. But also with other people, I'm working with my brother right now. We have a pop project that is called Telescope that we're going to be releasing in a month or so. So it's like him singing, me making the music. It's going to be more like a pop type of thing. And then I have created or written a solo album with my moniker for one of my other bands, MZ42, like a solo, very noise industrial, almost like to a level, right? So I've done that at the same time. So mixing and matching and doing multiple projects for me, trying to hold my idea and mission I need to go, right? And writer's block for me is really bad because even if I go to the studio, I feel that I can't do any music. So it doesn't really matter what I touch and what I do. So I try to reorient my mind and find ways of, approaching the gear and some finding, the approaches to the stuff that I make. I have a lot of ideas in my head, but the struggle for me when I have writer's block is getting those ideas out through my fingers, right? So I found, over years of swing paths, going in different direction, doing different types of genres of music, also using the gear in very simplistic manners, like one instrument, maybe two instruments, and skating things down, just having fun, right? It's been pretty serious. I mean, I moved into the house in 2021, and I haven't been able to make, well, this sounds a little bit weird since I have a lot of coming up, but I've been really struggling to close out the door. So there's been many a night evenings that I've been sitting in this studio able to produce anything. But I think that having this, it's like going to the office and do your job. You need to go there, you need to do your stuff. It might not be fun at the end. You will have it once you push things through, right? So yeah it's a little bit emotional, right? Having so much gear in the studio and not being able to produce something that you're happy with, right? So yeah, it's a hard thing. Definitely, it's a hard thing. So I have my patronage as well. Able to deliver content tracks and stuff like that in the way that I was able to. So that also adds a lot of extra pressure on me, able to provide with all of the music that I want to have out there. So for me, it's just taking that step and just doing stuff that is fun is really what kick started my brain being able to music again, without having to do nothing, without having to release a record, or just doing things because it's fun.
Yeah.
And then it just comes like a ketchup. Everything comes out.
Right. Well, I mean, you've moved. I mean, what, in the last 3 years you've moved 3 times, haven't you? Or 3 or 4 times, I think. So
I have.
I think that has a load bearing on it. I mean, I kind of know what it's like to move studios, because I don't know if you guys remember, but I've moved into here recently, but I actually haven't moved house, so it's not as bad as you. But before that, I had to completely dismantle my whole studio a time before that, because we had the room recarpeted, and that was a pain in the ass. And like every single time that happens, you burn out so much energy just getting all your gear reset up and configuring it, and then you kind of just want to like sit back and go, I don't know if I can be creative right now. I've just I was creative redesigning my studio. Do you know what I mean? So I can completely get where you've been, and I think all you need now is just just to have a bit of a cruisy sort of part where you can just you're not going to be disrupted. You're staying where you are. And then that will start to sedate everything else that's going on in there, and you'll start like getting new gear is definitely a good thing, like the Matriarch. That's definitely a good inspiration for you. So yeah, that's cool.
It is. Yeah, it is. And we can talk as much as you want about gas being a bad thing, buying new gear. But for me, getting a new piece of equipment in the studio helps me define a new creative path. So. It's an important thing. I'm not saying buying a synth time you feel down or you're not able to make music, but if you have like an idea of where to go and you have a piece of equipment that's like take gas, I think you should go, right? Because if you have a place for it when it's ready, getting that new piece of gear has to feed the creativity, right? But
it does.
It does.
You're breaking up again, but hey, you might want to check to see if someone else in your house is like watching Netflix at the same time. It could be, you don't know, it could be one of those things. Go give them a slap. Because I've done these video calls for a long time, and sometimes we had people on and their kids were playing games and stuff, and they weren't supposed to. Brooksy, look, you've been sort of in this world too, where I'll just join you here. We've been releasing albums. We've been, you've been doing a few live shows and things like that.
I haven't.
Creative
I
block.
haven't put out any new music for ages. Creative. I am writing it. I've just had a bit of an ear bending from Inverted Popes because I was supposed to do something for the end of February, and everything I've actually tried to. Whilst it's amusing doing the noodling about, the end product has just been not worthy, just not been. It's made me go, oh, yeah, that's quite nice, yeah, quite nice and good enough. I'm sorry, I can't do that. If it doesn't make me go, yeah, this is happening, it ain't going anywhere. It's not going anywhere, and I do. Maybe I don't know. Am I being just too self-critical? Am I judging myself a lot by what I'm also listening to at the moment and other people's output? Yes, I think so. And does it come up to the mark? No, it hasn't. No, not at all. Not from me. And that gets disheartening. And then I just go, oh, sod it. But I think it's that I keep trying to go back another bit, and I'll go back again and do a bit more, and I think Ollie's sort of just mentioned it. Hopefully there'll come a point where it goes right, okay, blah. But again, I'm still I still feel I'm going all a bit pixely now, and everyone's internet's going a bit mad.
Oh, it's been crazy today.
I still feel that I'm still learning. I'm still in a learning process. I have maybe it's a mistake to keep buying so much, even a module a month. You think, well, is that too much? I'm not getting into the depths of these things. I mean, we know about this box. I mean, I'm using this a lot more, and I've been getting more into it, and it's been more enjoyable, and that may well become part of a process. Really getting far deeper into the BeatStep Pro than I've ever been, and actually really enjoying that. I mean, since hooking that up to the modular, that's really become a new machine. It's got a whole new lease of life, and that's been a lot of fun. But I still feel like I'm learning rather than creating at the moment, and often, and I know I've said it before, but when I get home from work, I've got minimal mental resources left, because this, being creative with this sort of stuff requires quite a hefty chunk of concentration.
Yeah,
and sometimes I took modular analysis, and it's
just to quickly interrupt for a
not
sec.
always in the right space.
Just to quickly interrupt for a sec, just because I want to kind of hone in on a point that you just made, right? So, like, if we're talking about whether you've got to be perfect, or whether you've got to have something to a higher standard because you're still learning, so therefore because you're learning you haven't graduated. I just think, like, I'm not a brilliant piano player. I can try, but I'm not going to be Richard Clayderman or I'm not that sort of person who can go out and do piano concertos and things like that. I'm not that sort of keyboarder. I'm more of a knob twiggler. I'm more of a sequencer. I'm more of a computer sort of electronic musician, and I'm always learning. I'm always learning to the point where I even say things on this show that are wrong. So it's not. I don't think that should ever be a stop for you. If that's kind of, because I mean the music that I put out is never going to be good enough for me. But I just have to go to the point where I'm going to have to say, well, that particular track is done to where it's never going to be. I'm never going to be 100% happy with it. But that particular track, how it is, it's good enough to go out to the world for someone else to enjoy it. And a good way to sort of work that out, Andy, is to kind of ask your mates, hey, have a listen to this. Tell me what you think, and tell them to be critical. Don't say, oh, I don't want you to just to piss in my ear. Tell them to be critical about it. I think that's probably a way to go. Sorry, I had to cut you off because I just wanted to sort of put that into you.
No, you're right. I mean, again, actually, inverted post just said, Andy, we're all just learning. Get over yourself. Maybe Grace has just said, yeah, ditto. And I understand that, but I also have that personal I've got to be happy with it myself before I'll even go, here, what do you reckon?
Yeah.
I know I can be wrong. I know I can be wrong, but
maybe you're too critical of yourself. Maybe that's it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the problem, right? I think that's a problem, Andy.
Oh,
right?
look at his video. Look at that. It's beautiful. What did you do?
That's what you look like.
Yeah.
Oh, now we can see the beautiful Rachael in clarity.
Reconnected. That's what I did. So, I mean, being too self-critical about yourself, the music that you create, is big part of the problem, right? So, what you need to think about making music is a journey where you're teaching yourself your gear, right? So, the more music you can produce, you can create, the more artistic feedback you can get from your friends, and you can move forwards in the journey. Because if you never release tracks, you have no way of getting feedback from your peers and your friends, right? So the more stuff you push out, the more opportunities you have to interact with other, people in the game, and have them give you feedback and go this direction, go that direction, or it could be great, right? But going to a spot where you have to put the stick in the ground and say, I'm happy with this track. Let's be done with it and go to the next one, right? Because if you get stuck and not pushing stuff out, it will take you ages. So this is one of the things that I learned throughout the years. I lower my bar. This is, I have some misses, I have some glitches, whatever. Never mind that shit. It's a journey, it's a training thing. So go on to the next one, go on to the next one, go on to the next one. And then you're like 100 tracks down the road. The first track and the 100th track will be so completely different in terms of how you created the music. And, just taking it from there, just keep pushing stuff out. And, I'd be more than happy to listen to your stuff as well. Just send things over to me and I'll give you really, really, honest feedback, right? And that's one of the things that I like to do as well, because for me, it's important to, listen first and foremost, what's your style and, which direction are you going with this track? And once I understand that, I can give you some feedback as well. So for me, I think, this is something that I'm more than happy to do, right? So just send it over to me, right? And, having said that, if it's not fun, if it's boring, if it doesn't feel right, just drop it and start with something new as well. Because you can. I sometimes feel stuck in a loop. I'm doing some music over here and it doesn't feel right. I just delete everything and forget about it and start fresh.
Yeah,
that's the best way, because you have to be happy with the groove. Does it feel right? Does it sit tight? Does it make you happy? Right. So I usually think about this when you have something that's good. You can sit and listen to a beat, like 16 beat step for a long period of time. That means that you have something that's worth something, right? So getting to that moment where you have this repetitive thing you just listen to forever, and then you have something golden. So it might not be the best type of advice, but at least I'm hoping that could get you, help you to push in one direction.
Yeah, it's great advice.
Sounds like
great advice.
A lot of good advice, and quite a lot of people in the chat have said good things. Thank you. I will. Yeah. Right. Okay. Kick up the bum again, Andy. Right.
Well, when you look at it, Burg's stuff has been really up with. I rate it highly with a lot of stuff that I listen to, and I'm talking about the greats that I've listened to since I was a kid.
Sounds as good as that.
And to hear him say, he's right here telling you guys that he has writer's block. Yeah. This happens. I'm sure there's people that, we showed Rick Wakeman before. I'm sure he's had writer's block before. I'm sure everyone has had writer's block. So if you do get it, I think it's just a matter of reaching out to your peers. We're all your peers, right? You're seeing us on this show. We are your peers. Reach out to us. Yeah. We will be more than happy to offer an ear or a lending a hand or whatever to get you back on track. And like Burg said, I had that same problem, you guys might remember last year, where I was struggling to get my album out and I was stuck on a track and I literally just couldn't finish this track. And I really wanted this track to be on the album because I kind of digged it. There was a part of it that I thought was really, really cool. But I just couldn't.
An emotional link, wasn't there?
I just couldn't add anything else to it. It just kind of, nothing worked. So I just said, right, that's it. I'm not going to put the track on the album. I'm going to release the album without that track. And lo and behold, the album's out there. No one knows about this track, except for maybe a few people that I've dealt with. But that may eventually get finished in the future.
Well, again, through this week, I've been listening to your lovely album. I'm going to say this, Ranz. The more you listen to it, the better it gets. Actually, and that's a real compliment. That's a real compliment. Because the first time I said, it's just nice. There's some familiar little tunes on it. Yeah, it's nice. And it keeps coming around, and I keep listening to it through. And it's definitely getting more in the noddle. Yeah, you've done a good job with that, really. And if folks, if you haven't got hold of Ranzee's album, get hold of it. It's really good.
It's very kind of you. Really good. Very kind of you.
Not just saying it because I'm on here. I'm saying it because it's really good. Yeah, lovely little bits in the. Like you said, Adam's just mentioned transitions and working. There's some great little transition moments in that. I just go, gives you a little tingle. So I think it's really, really well done.
Well, one of the little things that I kind of look for, and Burg, you're the same because we've talked about this before, is the goosebump factor. And as a writer, it's hard. As a writer, it's hard to hear your own music and get goosebumps from your own music. You get it from other people's music, but the only way you're going to get that is to actually send it out to other people. And if they come back to you and say, "Oh, mate, I just got goosebumps from that," then you go, "Okay, cool. Maybe I'm onto something here. Let's keep progressing with that." So the link to the album, guys, you can literally find it through
Ranzee on Bandcamp.
Ranzee.com. Just go to Ranzee.com. It's like, yeah, just think Ranzee on Bandcamp.
Not the BBC.
Ranzee.com.
Very
Yeah.
easy.
You will find it. It's pretty easy to find. Okay. Chatties, tell us something that you guys are having trouble with writing. You know, are you stuck on? Have you ever made an album? You don't have to. Have you ever made a track? You don't have to write albums. You can just release singles. Like, you know, tell us something that you're kind of stuck on, and we can answer those questions. We've got probably a good 10 minutes left before we'll finish the show up. I can't believe we actually got through everything in that list. Oh, the only thing we didn't do was
crazy.
oh, we haven't done my rant. I've got to do my rant. Yes. Let me do my rant. Is it this button? Yes, it's this button. All right, let's get stuck into the rant. Hey, I shouldn't even be smart. I should be looking angry like that guy in that picture. That was me, by the way. My rant is these things, right? You guys know what these things are? These are ribbon cables, okay? Focus your
We
ass.
know where you're going with this.
See how there's a little color on that, right? It's red. It's a little, see how it's like, it's red. And you plug that little sucker into your Eurorack module. And if you don't plug it in the right way, smoke comes out the back of your Eurorack module.
What have you tried, Ranzee?
Blowing all your stuff up. If you are a manufacturer of Eurorack modules, there is a wonderful thing called bridge rectifiers. You should know what they are because you're doing electronics. Please, like, make even like the plug, make it so that it's keyed so that because I'm stupid, make it so that I can't plug that in the wrong way around. For fuck's sake.
Shrouded headers.
Sorry.
Why don't all Eurorack modules have shrouded headers?
Exactly.
And then, come on, Ranz, admit it. What have you fried?
I haven't. I'm actually doing it on behalf of a friend of mine who's another Australian who literally he fried a $1,300 module. A $1,300. You think if you're going to spend that much money on a module that they would have had the basic stuff like that,
shouldn't
right?
be possible. Yeah, they should have shrouded headers so you can only plug the cable in one way.
Yep.
Oh, that is. You know, I hope it's not his liability and that he can get something back.
No,
they'll take it away.
No, he's complete. It was second hand. It was like $1,300 second hand too. So I don't know how much it costs brand new. But I just think there's some kind of simple, like Roland, put aftertouch on your freaking keyboards. Eurorack, you know, key the bloody, you know. There's just so many things you could do that it's just simple. It's like my face palming moments of the week. You guys have them, right? Send in your rants and I'll do it for you during the week.
Can I share mine?
Yeah, go for it.
Well, I don't know if you can see the rack over on the left hand rack. The mult module is now up there where it wasn't. I thought, no, I'm going to move that one over to there because it's in a more sensible place. I am going to need these. I thought I was going to get away with it. Now I'm going to need them, right? And in the process of moving it, trying to plug the bloody thing in the rack took me 10 minutes. I could not get this bloody shrouded header, even in the rack. And I was I had sweat pouring off my brow, and I was swearing, and I was going to take off. I thought, I am not having it. It was just such hard work trying to. And I think the Go case is well designed, so it's probably supposed to be easy to do. Oh, it's so difficult. It's like an Olympic event plugging this bloody module in. And by the time I'd plugged it in, I couldn't be arsed doing anything else. I was in such a bloody frenzy. Yeah. Right, that was me. I've had a rant about that.
I feel you. I feel you. Like those things, they ruin. It's like
all I wanted to do was mult some bloody gate triggers. That's all I wanted to do.
It's like when your woman says she's got a headache. It ruins the mood, doesn't it?
Great, hooray, you moved them all. Yeah, Grace, I did move them all, but it cost me a great deal of pain and swearing.
Good on you, Grace. I can feel like sometimes I pull modules out and I have to pull like 5 modules out so that I can get one in because I've got to get my hand in, and I've got these massive fat sausage fingers, and just forget it. They should come up with something that's a bit easier.
But I have a lovely graceful Venus palm. I don't have that problem. But I couldn't get the bloody thing in. Pardon the expression.
The
As the bishop said to the actress.
Mrs. Palmer and her 5 doors.
There we go. We're talking about that way.
That's fantastic. Dearie me. What are the chatties saying? The chatties are awesome. I missed this show. I hate taking weeks off. Honestly, last week I was dying to do a show. I was really, really dying to do a show, but I couldn't do it. I was looking at my daughter a couple of times. She's going, "What are you looking at me like that for?" And I'm like, I can't really tell you, but really what I was thinking was I want to be on my show right now. You're holding me back. How dare you have a birthday?
You should have kept it in your pants, Ranzee. Wouldn't have happened.
That's it, yes. Either that or, go and see Dr. Snip. Have you heard about Dr. Snip? There's this guy in Queensland, in Brisbane. He's got this massive friggin' motorway billboard, and it says on there, "You need to see Dr. Snip." And there's all these people, like millions of people driving past, like he's got this billboard, Dr. Snip. It's the best thing ever.
I'm not going to ask what it does.
It's preventing children. That's what it does.
Dr. Snip.
Dr. Snip.
Sounds like a techno artist or something.
It would be a good name for a band, wouldn't it? Dr. Snip.
DJ Dr. Snip.
Anyway.
Why do we always end up being so silly?
It's the end of the show. It's the end of the show.
Oh, yeah, okay. So
we're allowed to do that. Yeah, it's frivolity. It's Saturday Sonority. That's what it is. Yeah. I was going to show that Deepmind app, but I don't think we'll bother. I think we'll move that across to next week. But yeah, I tell you what. I'm having a lot. So what I'm going to do, I'm having a lot of fun with Rachael, who happens to be on Burg's t-shirt right now. If you're wondering what Rachael is, it's a Eurorack module. It's not a t-shirt, but anyway, thanks for modelling that, by the way. I'm having a lot of fun with it. It cost me an arm and a leg. I will definitely admit, $349 US. I paid full price for it from them direct.
What it is.
There
I
it is.
missed that bit.
There it is. There. Do you want me to?
Are you pairing that up with it? Do you have the Deckard's?
Oh, Rachael, as in from Deckard's voice.
Yes.
That.
It's a ring mod.
Have you got Deckard's voice as well?
No, not yet. I'm going to get that though.
Oh,
yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
Oh, stop it, Roland. Just stop it.
Let's play with it a little bit, hey? For a minute or two.
How are you doing that ratcheting?
Okay.
Sounds fucking fabulous. Seriously.
There's a harmonics there, right?
Oh, it does sound great.
Oh.
I mean, when you're buying the big Deckard Stream, like the big synth, right? You don't even get the ring module. You have to buy like the extra 19-inch 1U rack, right?
Yep.
So it's not even part of it. So
it's not even part of it. Yeah.
A good. Yeah, so this is good value for the money because I think this is way cheaper than just getting the 19-inch rack for Deckard's Dream.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
and the other thing too is Wagoo, who's in the chat, he's got a Deckard's Dream, and he missed out on getting that add-on thing, and he got the Rachael. So that now But the other thing too is it's not just a ring mod. It's also an envelope generator, and it does have a CS80 oscillator in it too. So if you want that seesaw, that famous seesaw sound, okay, yeah, it doesn't have the filter and a few other things missing, but if you want that famous seesaw sound, you can put it through your own filter. You can put it through the pre-CR. Oh my God, that thing is like insane. It's insane. Yeah. No, it's been fun. One thing I will notice...
pre-CR's just been added to the shopping list.
The dealing with BlackCorporation was absolutely like just effortless. Like you ordered it, and I live like they're in Japan. I live in Australia. It's quite a long way away. It came within a week. They used DHL. It was like you think about all the COVID courier issues we've got at the moment. They were effortless to deal with. The postage, I think, was included in the price too. So that $349 price included postage. So when you think about it, it really probably isn't $349. It's probably about $100 less, US. I don't know how much postage is, but
aren't they releasing the Jupiter 8 clone as well now?
Yeah, they are. They've got the...
Oh, are they?
Yeah, it's got a weird name. I can't remember what they're calling it, but yeah, it's a Jupiter 8.
Yeah, something in Japanese. I can't pronounce it, but it looks really great. I mean,
now, this is the thing, like, you guys see me on my show, I always say, do a bit of DIY, get the soldering iron out. But I'm telling you right now, and this is, if Robin, Vincent, if you're watching, I really feel for you, mate. I would not, in a million years, touch DIY Decad's Dream. I would just get BlackCorporation to do it, because when I got that Rachael module, I actually had a look at how well they make them, like just how neat, and it's just it's a thing of electronic beauty to look at. And I just thought to myself, I'm not going to have a crack at doing something like that. You guys are just going to do it beautifully.
I do hope that Robin manages to get it finished and that it actually works, because it's actually a lovely process just watching him building it. I really quite enjoy those videos. Just watch him solder away. It's really it's sort of really quite cathartic. Not cathartic. It's relaxing. It's very, very, very lovely. But I just think if you've gone through all of that over that length of time, and then something's not working, I really do hope it works in the end for him. I really do.
I tell you what, I just had this really crazy thought just then, right? Because as I was talking about DIY modules, here's Rachael sitting next to the DIY module that I made myself, sitting right next to her. And I'm just thinking, what if that caught on fire? I don't want that to catch on fire because it's next to Rachael. I'll probably move that, I think.
Trust yourself. Trust yourself.
It's been fun, guys. It's been a great show. Thank you for all the chatties who have been part of it. And I really enjoyed coming back. I know it's only been a week. Feels like I've been away for a long time, but that's kind of how it felt. And this week was kind of like a whole bunch of bits of topics. So I hope you like those those shows where we're not really concentrating on one thing. But we do also like doing, the show we did about hearing, which was Henrik's show a couple of weeks ago. That was really good. I actually really enjoyed that. From my point of view, my job was just to sort of get people together and press the buttons, because I couldn't really add anything personally from that because it wasn't my part of the world. And I feel for people with hearing problems. So, because I think it would suck. It would really suck, especially because that's what we do, right? As a hobby, we listen to stuff. So so that was a really good show. If you didn't actually see that, go back and check that on my channel. It's well worth watching. I've actually chaptered all the parts, so you can go straight to the segment if you don't want to watch the rest of the show. That's fine. Name that synth. Who wants to do one next week? Anyone? Hey, bragging rights, me. No one guessed it. Hey, I used a Volca. Of all things, you guys are shocking out there. You've been tricked. You guys, the rules are that you can show obscurity as much as you like, as long as it actually is actual. I used my my little microscope camera that I've got over there, so I did very, very close up photos of it and everything. But even these phones can do pretty close up photos these days. Do whatever you want, but as long as that synth is coming out the back of it and straight into the recording, that's all we care about. And see Let's see. I kind of want someone else to do it because everyone keeps looking at my gear list and trying to guess what it is. It's like, it's just not fair, right? So someone else has to do it. Grace is saying if she has time, she'll have a go. Yeah, Grace was awesome. I liked hers. That was really good. But I think, and
I'm DQ'd from that one.
There is a few people that have approached me, but if you're, and I'm not talking about you guys, video callers, guys. I'm talking about you guys as chatties. If you got an idea about trying to trick us, it has to be a synth. Could be anything, right? I did a Volca. That's a synth. So think deep and hard and approach me during the week. Mum's the word. I won't tell anyone. All right. Many thanks to Mr. Burg. Uni, it was awesome having you on.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.
You're more than welcome to come back whenever you like. You know that. So it was awesome having you. Love having your insight into things. Awesome. And Mr. Brooks, also awesome to have you again, mate. Actually missed you, so it was good to have you. Always good to have you.
It was to be fair, it was actually, I think, nice having a couple of Saturdays off. It was. It was pleasant, but yeah, it's always good to be here. Enjoy it, always enjoy it. We do. It's why we do it, don't we? Because it's fun.
Yeah.
So, and Ollie, nice to meet up with you again. Always good to see you. Glad you're up and making music. I'm gonna have to get over to your Bandcamp and download a load of stuff now, but I'm gonna have to wait till Tuesday when I get paid.
Yep.
Don't forget my last pennies from down to my last pennies this month because I spent too much because I overshot my budget because I bought OBE, so that was an extra 120 quid that disappeared this month. But I wasn't, because I couldn't stop myself. But no, it does. It's amazing. It is fantastic. First soft synth I've ever bought, but it's bloody lovely.
Yeah.
Anyway, more on that later.
We didn't quite. We did miss. I've just noticed we did miss out on one thing, which was Jam of the Week. I'll make sure I do that next week. So do apologies. I won't tell you who that was because I'll approach that person individually. But that's okay. Bye bye everybody. See you next week. Have fun with your synths.
Ta-da!
Ta-da!